Woman lived alone for 7 years. Then something started knocking. 3 times. Middle of a blizzard. Like and subscribe real quick. Then comment if you'd open that door. Be honest. Here's what Vera did. The wind wasn't howling. That's what people got wrong when they talked about UP winters. It didn't howl, it screamed. It clawed at the windows like something with fingers, scraped across the aluminum siding of Vera Kowalski's double wide like it was trying to peel the whole goddamn thing open. Inside, she sat at the kitchen table with a vodka rocks and yesterday's Marquette Mining Journal spread out in front of her. Wasn't reading it, just looking at the words. Let her eyes drift across headlines about mine closures and opioid statistics and a missing hiker from downstate who thought September in the Huron Mountains was like camping in fucking Wisconsin dells. Vera was 62 and done. Not done, just done with the parts that required giving a shit. She'd stopped coloring her hair 2 years ago, stopped pretending to smile at the grocery store, stopped answering her phone unless it was the VA calling about Tom's benefits, which they did every 6 months like clockwork, like they were checking to see if he'd miraculously undied. The trailer sat on 40 acres of nothing her grandfather had left her. Closest neighbor was 4 miles through forest. No cell service. Landline she mostly unplugged. Propane heat, well water, generator for when the power went out, which it did about twice a month in winter. She'd been an ER nurse for 31 years in Marquette, seen gunshots, ODs, drunk drivers wrapped around trees with their faces in their laps. Got good at stitching, got good at lying to families, got real good at not feeling anything when the 16-year-old with the needle still in her arm turned out to be somebody you'd babysat once. That was Marissa, her daughter. 2012. Fentanyl-laced heroin from some shithead in Escanaba. Found her in the Walmart parking lot. Vera had done CPR until the paramedics pulled her off. Broke 3 of her daughter's ribs trying to bring her back. Didn't matter. Tom died 4 months later. Mill accident. His hand got caught in the debarker. Pulled him in before the emergency stop kicked in. They gave her a closed casket and a settlement that paid off the trailer. So yeah, 7 years alone. And that was fine. Preferred it, actually. Out here, nobody asked how she was doing. Nobody gave her that head tilt sympathy look. Nobody tried to pray at her. She had her vodka, had her propane stove, had 3 years worth of freeze-dried camping food in the shed, and a Remington 870 behind the door. The wind hit harder. Snow came sideways past the window, illuminated by the porch light she left on, because total darkness made her think too much. February in the UP. Temp was probably 6 below. Wind chill made it 20-something worse. This was the kind of cold that killed you if you fucked around. The kind where your lungs hurt if you breathed wrong. She lifted the vodka. Ice had melted. She drank it anyway. Then came the first knock. Not loud, just solid, deliberate, like someone knew you were home and knew you heard them. She froze. Glass halfway to the table, eyes on the door. Could have been the wind, except it wasn't. Wind didn't knock. Wind scratched, banged, rattled. This was a knuckle on wood. She waited, counted to 10. Nothing. Then the second knock. Lower, heavier. Like someone had switched hands. Used a fist instead of knuckles. Her heartbeat kicked up. Not fear, exactly. Just the ER instinct. The thing that used to wake her up before the radio even went off. The thing that knew when someone was about to code before the monitors caught it. She stood, slow. Didn't make noise. Her hand found the shotgun. Fingers wrapped around the stock. Cold metal. Familiar. Then the third knock. Softer. Almost hesitant. Like whoever was out there wasn't sure if they should be. She stood there, shotgun in one hand, other hand on the deadbolt, breathing through her nose. The smart thing was to not open it, to get on the landline, call the county sheriff, wait 2 hours, for a deputy to show up and find nothing. But something about that third knock. She thought about Marissa, thought about the night she'd showed up at 3 a.m., strung out, crying, begging to come in. Vera had opened the door, let her sleep it off on the couch, made eggs in the morning, drove her to a meeting. It hadn't saved her. But she'd opened the door. She thought about Tom. The morning of the accident, he'd kissed her forehead before leaving, told her the coffee was shit, but he loved her anyway. She'd flipped him off and told him not to die. He'd laughed. She unbolted the door, pulled it open 6 inches, just enough to see. The cold hit her face like a slap. Snow spiraled in. Porch light caught it, made it glow. And there, on the top step, were 2 shapes. Not people, not animals. Something else. They were small, maybe 4 feet tall, both of them hunched over, soaking wet, covered in dark hair. No, fur matted and dripping. Arms wrapped around themselves, shaking so hard she could see it from here. One was slightly bigger, had its hand on the smaller one's shoulder. Protective. The smaller one held something out. A branch, cedar, looked like, broken clean at the base, wrapped with dried grass in a pattern, too deliberate to be random. They didn't make a sound, just stood there, staring up at her with eyes that caught the light wrong. Too big, too aware. Vera's brain did the thing it used to do in the ER. Catalogued, assessed, not bears. Bears didn't stand like that. Didn't have hands. Not kids in costumes. Not in this cold. Not out here. Not human. Her grip tightened on the shotgun. The smaller one's eyes tracked the movement. It flinched, pulled the cedar branch closer to its chest. Didn't run, just waited. And that's what did it. The waiting, the not running, the offering of something that clearly meant something, even if Vera didn't know what. She thought about Marissa again, about opening the door at 3 a.m., about how sometimes you don't get to know if it's the right choice. You just make it and live with what happens. She lowered the shotgun, leaned it against the wall inside, stepped back. Get in here before you freeze to death. Her voice came out rough, too loud. She winced. They didn't move at first, just looked at each other. Then the bigger one nudged the smaller one forward. They shuffled inside, tracking slush and mud across the linoleum. Their fur steamed. Their breathing was labored, raspy. She shut the door, threw the deadbolt, stood there for a second, back against the wood, wondering what the absolute fuck she'd just done. They stood in the middle of her kitchen, dripping, shivering, not looking at her, just staring at the floor, like they were waiting for permission. Jesus Christ, she muttered. She moved past them, opened the linen closet, pulled out 2 towels, the good ones, the ones Tom's mother had given them for their wedding that she'd never actually used, and an old army blanket from Tom's Marine Corps days. She approached slow, hands visible, the way you'd approach a stray dog that might bite. Here, she held out the towels. The bigger one took them, hesitated, then started drying the smaller one first. Gentle, deliberate. The smaller one just stood there, eyes closed, still clutching that cedar branch. Vera draped the blanket over both their shoulders. They didn't flinch, just pulled it tighter. Okay, she said, more to herself than them. Okay. She crossed to the propane heater in the corner, cranked it up. The air started ticking with heat. Then she went to the kitchen, opened the fridge, not much in there. Eggs, butter, half a loaf of bread from the IGA, jar of honey Tom used to put in his coffee. She made grilled cheese, 4 sandwiches, melted the butter slow, pressed them flat in the pan, the way Tom liked them. When they were golden and crispy, she stacked them on a plate, drizzled honey over the top, weird, but what the hell, and brought it to the living room. She set the plate on the coffee table, stepped back, sat down in the recliner across from them, ate. They stared at the food, then at her, then back at the food. The bigger one reached out, took a sandwich, held it up to its face, sniffed, then took a bite. Its eyes closed, chewed slow, swallowed. Then it grabbed a second sandwich and handed it to the smaller one. The smaller one took it with both hands, still holding that cedar branch in one, and ate like it was the first food it had ever tasted. No sound, just chewing, breathing, the quiet crackle of the heater. Vera watched them. Her vodka sat forgotten on the table. Her hands were shaking. She pressed them flat against her thighs. In 31 years of nursing, she'd seen a lot of shit. But this was different. This was impossible. Except it wasn't. They were right there, eating her grilled cheese, dripping on her floor. Real. The smaller one finished first. Curled up on the rug near the heater, still wrapped in the blanket, cedar branch tucked against its chest. Breathing evened out, eyes drifted shut. The bigger one finished slower, watched Vera the whole time. When it was done, it set the plate down carefully. Then it sat down beside the smaller one, put a hand on its back. Protective. Vera stayed in the recliner, didn't move, didn't speak, just watched them sleep. Outside, the wind kept screaming. Inside, the heater ticked, the fridge hummed. The old clock on the wall, Tom's grandfather's, talked away the seconds. She should have been terrified, should have grabbed the shotgun, locked herself in the bedroom, called someone, but she wasn't. And she didn't, because for the first time in 7 years, the trailer didn't feel empty. She woke up stiff as hell, neck kinked from sleeping in the recliner. Grey light filtered through the windows. Storm had passed. Everything outside was white and silent. She sat up slow, joints popping, reached for her vodka glass empty, right, and then remembered. Her eyes went to the floor. They were still there. Both of them, curled together on the rug, fur dried out now, puffed up like they'd been blow-dried. The smaller one's hand was still wrapped around that cedar branch. The bigger one had one arm draped over the smaller one's shoulder. Vera stared at them for a long time, waiting for them to disappear, waiting to wake up for real. But they didn't, and she didn't. Shit, she whispered. She stood, bones creaking, crossed to the kitchen, put the kettle on, made instant coffee because she was out of grounds, stood at the counter, staring out the window at the snow-buried world, trying to figure out what the hell happened now. Her phone buzzed. Landline. She'd plugged it back in at some point, must have been instinct, in case the propane ran out or something. She picked up. Yeah, Vera? It's Lois. Lois Drummond. Closest thing Vera had to a friend. Lived over in Michigan. Used to work the ER too, until her back gave out. They met for coffee sometimes. Mostly just sat in silence and complained about their joints. Hey, Vera said. You okay? Storm hit pretty hard. Wanted to make sure your generator didn't crap out. I'm fine. You need anything? I'm heading into Marquette later. Can grab you supplies. Nah, I'm good. Pause. Lois knew her well enough not to push. All right. Call if you need something. Will do. Vera hung up, turned back to the living room. The bigger one was awake, sitting up, watching her. Their eyes met. Vera's heart kicked once, hard, but she didn't look away. You hungry? She asked. It didn't answer, just kept watching. She made more grilled cheese, brought it over, set it down on the coffee table. The bigger one reached out, took a sandwich, ate it slow. The smaller one stirred, opened its eyes, saw the food, grabbed one without sitting up. Vera sat back down in the recliner, sipped her shitty instant coffee, watched them eat. So, she said, what the hell are you? No answer. Didn't expect one. Where'd you come from? Nothing. You got parents looking for you? The bigger one's eyes flicked to the window, just for a second. Then, back to her. Yeah, Vera muttered. That's what I thought. She finished her coffee, stood, crossed to the window, looked out at the snow. Everything was still, white, quiet, and then she saw them, shapes, in the tree line, maybe 40 yards out. She counted without meaning to. 8, no, 10, more. They stood perfectly still, too big to be deer, too upright to be anything else. Her chest tightened. She stepped back from the window, slow. Behind her, the bigger one stood, moved to the window, looked out. Its breath fogged the glass. Then it turned to her, and for the first time, its face changed. Something like recognition, something like relief. It moved to the door. Put one hand on the knob. Wait, Vera said. Hold on. It looked back at her. You're gonna go out there. It nodded. Once. Deliberate. They your people? Another nod. Vera looked at the smaller one, still on the floor, still holding that cedar branch. It hadn't moved. Hadn't looked at the door. Kid's not going. The bigger one shook its head. Why not? It didn't answer. Just opened the door. Cold air rushed in. The bigger one stepped out onto the porch, turned back once, made a sound low, guttural, not quite a growl, and then walked down the steps into the snow. Vera watched it go, watched it cross the clearing toward the tree line. The shapes didn't move, just waited. When the bigger one reached them, they turned as one and disappeared into the forest. Gone. Vera stood in the doorway, cold biting her face, snow blowing in. The smaller one was still inside, still on the rug, watching her now. She looked at it. It looked back. Guess it's just you and me, Vera said. She closed the door, threw the bolt, turned around. The smaller one sat up, set the cedar branch down carefully. Then it stood, walked over to her, slow, stopped about 3 feet away. It held out one hand, palm up. Vera stared at it, at the hand, at the small, clawed fingers, at the way it was offering something she couldn't see but could feel. She reached out, placed her hand over the smaller one's. It was warm, real, solid. The smaller one's fingers closed gently around hers, just for a second, then it let go, stepped back, returned to the rug, picked up the cedar branch, sat down. Vera stood there, her hands still tingling where they'd touched. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds. Light poured across the snow, made everything glow. Inside, the heater ticked, the clock talked. And Vera Kowalski, 62 years old, 7 years alone, stood in her kitchen and realized she wasn't alone anymore. And for reasons she couldn't explain and didn't want to, that didn't scare her. It felt like something she'd been waiting for. The days that followed didn't feel like days. They felt like something else. Like time had shifted sideways and was moving at a different speed. Snow kept falling. Not storms, just steady. The kind that piled up, quiet and patient. Vera stopped unplugging the phone, started making extra food, found herself talking out loud, even when the kid she'd started thinking of it as the kid wasn't in the room. The kid didn't talk back. Didn't make much sound at all, actually. Just watched, learned, moved through the trailer like smoke, there and gone, never knocking shit over, never getting in the way. Third morning, Vera woke up to find her boots by the door. She'd left them by the heater to dry. Now they were lined up neat, laces tucked inside. Fourth morning, the dishes were done. She'd left them in the sink, went to bed drunk, woke up to them drying in the rack. "You don't got to do that," she said. The kid just looked at her from the corner, clutching that damn cedar branch it wouldn't put down. "I'm serious. You're not." She stopped. Not what? Not a maid. Not her daughter. Not her responsibility. She didn't finish the sentence. Fifth morning, she went outside to check the propane tank. Temps had dropped again. Single digits. Her breath hung in the air like a ghost. She crunched through the snow around the side of the trailer, checking the gauge. That's when she saw them. Prints. In the snow. All around the trailer. Not deer. Not dog. Too big. Too deliberate. And there, right at the edge of the tree line, a stack of firewood. Split clean. Stacked neat. Hadn't been there yesterday. Her chest got tight. She looked at the trees. Saw nothing. But felt it. That pressure. Like when you know someone's watching but can't prove it. She went back inside. The kid was at the window, staring out at the same spot Vera had just been. "They out there?" Vera asked. The kid nodded. "They watching us?" Another nod. "They gonna come in?" The kid shook its head. "Why not?" No answer. The kid turned away from the window, went back to the rug by the heater, sat down, traced patterns in the air with one finger. Same thing it did every day. Shapes Vera couldn't understand but didn't interrupt. That afternoon, Vera made soup. Canned tomato base, whatever frozen vegetables she had left, some venison from the freezer Tom had stocked before he died. She dumped it all in a pot and let it simmer. The trailer filled with the smell of it. Almost made the place feel normal. She poured 2 bowls, set one in front of the kid. They ate in silence. The kid used its hands, made a mess, didn't care, just ate like it was the first time food made sense. "You got a name?" Vera asked. The kid looked up, soup dripping from its chin. "I can't just call you kid." It tilted its head. "I'm Vera, you understand that?" "Vera." She pointed at herself. The kid pointed at her, opened its mouth, made a sound. V, 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 V. Close enough. It smiled. First time she'd seen it do that. Small, quick, gone. Something in Vera's chest cracked, just a little. That night, she pulled out the box from under her bed. Hadn't opened it in 3 years. Tom's stuff. Things she couldn't throw away but couldn't look at either. His watch, his wedding ring, his dog tags from the Marines, a folded flag they'd given her at the funeral, some photos, his wallet, a notebook. She opened the notebook. Tom's handwriting. Blocky, practical. Mostly notes about truck maintenance and supply lists. But near the back, something different. Le 14 juin 2006, saw something up near Black River Falls. Thought it was a bear at first. Wasn't. Too big. Walked wrong. Had a kid with it. Little one. Caught in old barbed wire from the logging days. The big one was trying to free it. Panicking. Making these sounds. I waited. Didn't want to spook them. But the kid was bleeding bad. Finally, I just walked up. Slow. Hands visible. The big one bared its teeth but didn't charge. Let me get close. I cut the wire with my multi-tool. The kid ran to its mother-father, and they took off. But before they did, the big one looked at me, dead in the eyes, then nodded. I swear to God it nodded. Left my jacket there. Figured they might need it more than me. Came back 2 days later. Jacket was folded up neat on a stump, and there was a carving. Little bird. Made from cedar. Still got it in my toolbox. Vera read it 3 times. Her hands were shaking. She set the notebook down, looked at the kid on the rug. The kid was watching her. "Tom saw you," Vera said. "Quiet. Didn't he? Or someone like you?" The kid didn't move. He never told me. Never said a goddamn word. Her voice cracked. She pressed her palms against her eyes. Breathed. 1, 2, 3. The way they taught her in that mandatory grief counseling after Marissa died. The sessions she'd walked out of after 20 minutes because the therapist kept saying healing journey and Vera wanted to throw a chair. When she looked up, the kid had moved. Was sitting at her feet now, looking up at her. It reached out, placed one hand on her knee, gentle, just rested it there. Vera stared at that hand, at the small fingers, the dark fur, the claws that should have scared her, but didn't. "I couldn't save her," she said, voice raw. "My daughter. I tried. I did CPR until they pulled me off. Broke her ribs. But she was already gone. Fentanyl. She was 26. I'm a fucking nurse, and I couldn't save my own kid." The hand on her knee squeezed. Once, Tom didn't know what to do with it. The grief. He just worked. Worked until the mill ate him alive. And then it was just me. And I thought I was supposed to feel something. Anger or sadness or something. But I just felt empty. Like someone had scooped me out and forgot to put anything back. The kid's eyes didn't leave hers. And now you're here. And I don't know why. I don't know what you want. But you're here, and I'm... She stopped, swallowed hard. "I'm fucking terrified I'm gonna fail you too." The kid stood, walked over to where it had left the cedar branch, picked it up, brought it back to Vera, held it out. Vera took it. The branch was smooth, worn. The grass wrapped around it was dry but intact. Intricate, deliberate. "What is this?" she asked. The kid pointed at Vera. then at itself, then at the door. I don't understand. It tried again, pointed at Vera, at itself, made a gesture, hands together, fingers interlaced. Together. The kid nodded, hard. You're saying we're together? Like, you're staying. Another nod. Vera looked at the branch in her hands, at the kid, at the life she'd built that wasn't really a life, just an existence held together by vodka and routine and the determination not to feel anything ever again. Okay, she said. Okay, yeah, we're together. The kid made a sound, not words, just a soft huff. Relief, maybe. Or agreement. That night, Vera gave the kid Tom's old sleeping bag, set it up on the couch. The kid climbed in, still holding the cedar branch, and was asleep in minutes. Vera sat in the recliner, stared at the ceiling, listened to the kid breathe. For the first time in 7 years, she didn't drink herself to sleep. Week 2, the routine settled in. Vera woke up, made coffee, found things moved or cleaned or fixed. The kid was getting bolder, started following her outside when she checked the generator, stood on the porch, watching the tree line. The shapes were always there, barely visible, patient. Why don't they come closer? Vera asked one morning. The kid pointed at the trailer, then at Vera, made a circle motion with one hand. This is my space. Nod. And they're respecting that? Nod. Jesus. They got better manners than most people. The kid tilted its head, confused. Never mind. That afternoon, a truck came up the drive. Vera saw it from the window. County vehicle. Shit. She looked at the kid. Bedroom. Now. Don't come out. The kid didn't argue, just took the cedar branch and disappeared. Vera grabbed her coat, went outside, met the ranger on the porch. Paul Darnell. She knew him. He'd gone to school with Tom. Vera. He touched his hat. Always did that. Polite to a fault. Paul, just doing rounds. Making sure folks made it through the storm okay. I'm fine. Mind if I come in? Just for a minute. Warming up. She did mind. But saying no would be weird. She stepped aside. He stomped snow off his boots. Came inside. Looked around. His eyes caught on things. 2 coffee mugs in the sink. The sleeping bag on the couch. Extra food on the counter. You got company? He asked. Casual. Too casual. Friend visiting. Yeah. Who? Lois. From Michigan. Lois still got that bad back. She manages. He nodded. Didn't push. But his eyes kept moving. Cataloging. Cop instinct. Or ranger instinct. Whatever. Reason I'm asking, he said, is we've had some reports. Hikers seeing things. Tracks that don't make sense. Livestock going missing over in Champion. Lot of coyotes this year. Yeah, that's what I said. He paused. Looked at her dead on. But between you and me, some of these tracks are big. Real big. And there's been sightings. People seeing shapes in the woods. Tall. Upright. Vera kept her face neutral. People see all kinds of shit in the woods. That's true. He glanced at the bedroom door. Closed. You see anything weird, you call me. Okay. Sure. He left. Stood on the porch for a minute. Looked at the tree line. Then got in his truck and drove off. Vera waited until the sound of the engine faded. Then she went to the bedroom. The kid was under the bed, squeezed into the corner. Eyes wide. He's gone, Vera said. You're okay. The kid crawled out. Slow. Its hands were shaking. People scare you more than animals. Huh. The kid nodded. Yeah, me too. That night, Vera made spaghetti. Used the last of the sauce. They ate together. The kid still made a mess. Vera didn't care. After dinner, she went outside. Stood on the porch. Looked at the trees. I know you're out there, she called. Her voice carried, flat, clear. I don't know what you want, but the kid's safe here. I'm not gonna hurt it, and I'm not gonna let anyone else hurt it either. No response, just wind, just cold. She went back inside. The kid was at the window, watching. They hear me? The kid nodded. They believe me? Pause. Then another nod. Good. 2 days later, she woke up to something on the porch. A bundle, wrapped in bark. She opened it. Inside, dried meat, berries, some kind of root vegetable she didn't recognize, and another carving, a woman, rough, simple, but unmistakably a woman, holding something small. She brought it inside. Showed the kid. This supposed to be me? The kid looked at it, then at her, smiled. Yeah, okay. She put it on the shelf, next to Tom's photo, next to Marissa's. The kid walked over, looked at Marissa's photo, tilted its head. That's my daughter, Vera said. She died. Long time ago. The kid reached out, touched the frame. Gentle. She was. Vera stopped, started again. She was sick, in her head, used drugs to make it quiet, but the drugs killed her. I tried to help, tried everything. Wasn't enough. The kid picked up the photo, studied it. Marissa's face, smiling, 17 in that picture. Before everything went to shit, before the pills and the needles and the lying, the kid set it down carefully. Then it walked to the bedroom, came back with the cedar branch, set it in front of Marissa's photo. Vera's throat closed up. She nodded, couldn't speak. The kid went back to the couch, curled up in the sleeping bag, closed its eyes. Vera stayed at the shelf, looking at the photo, at the cedar branch, at the carving of the woman holding something small, and something in her chest, something that had been frozen for 7 years, started to thaw. It hurt like hell. 3rd week. The snow stopped. Temps rose. Ice started melting off the roof. Drip, drip, drip. Constant. The kid got restless. Paced the trailer. Stood at the window for hours. You want to go outside? Vera asked. The kid looked at her, nodded hard. Okay, but stay close. They went out together. The kid stepped off the porch, sank into the snow up to its knees, didn't care, just walked. Vera followed, slower, her boots crunching. The kid went to the tree line, stopped, looked back at Vera. I'm right here, Vera said. The kid stepped into the trees. Vera followed, and that's when she saw them. 5 of them, maybe 6, standing in a loose circle, tall, covered in fur that was almost white, blending with the snow. They didn't move, just watched. The kid walked right up to the closest one, the one with a scar across its chest. Long, deep, old wound. The scarred one knelt, put one hand on the kid's head. Gentle. Then it looked at Vera. Their eyes met. Vera should have run, should have screamed, should have done something other than stand there, 50 feet into the woods, surrounded by creatures that shouldn't exist. But the scarred one's eyes weren't angry, weren't hungry. They were grateful. It stood, placed one hand over its heart, then extended it toward her. Palm out. Vera said. Eloquent. You're welcome? The scarred one nodded. Once. Then it turned. The others turned with it. They walked deeper into the forest, disappeared. The kid stayed, looked up at Vera. Those your people? Nod. They're not taking you back? The kid shook its head, took Vera's hand, pulled her back toward the trailer. Inside, Vera made hot chocolate, sat at the table. The kid sat across from her. They drank in silence. Why aren't you going with them? Vera asked. The kid set down its mug, stood, went to the shelf, picked up the carving of the woman, brought it back, set it in front of Vera, then it pointed at Vera, at itself, made that gesture again. Hands together. You're staying with me? Nod. Why? The kid reached across the table, put its hand on Vera's, squeezed, and Vera understood, not in words, but in the way understanding works when you stop thinking and just feel. The kid had lost someone too, or been lost, and somehow, in this frozen nowhere, 2 broken things had found each other. And maybe that was enough. Okay, Vera said. Her voice cracked. Okay, yeah, you can stay. The kid smiled, that small, quick smile. There and gone. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds. Light poured across the snow, made everything glow. Inside, Vera Kowalski sat at her table with a creature that shouldn't exist. And for the first time in 7 years, she felt something other than empty. She felt needed, and that scared her more than anything. Spring came slow and mean, not the pretty kind from postcards, the Yuppie kind, where the snow melted into mud that sucked at your boots, where the trees dripped constant, and everything smelled like rot and thaw. The road to Vera's place turned into a swamp, impassable for anything that wasn't four-wheel drive. Which meant, when Lois showed up in her Subaru, grinding through the slush, Vera knew something was up. She met her outside. The kid was in the bedroom. House rule now. When people came, the kid disappeared. You drove all the way out here in this shit. Vera called from the porch. Lois climbed out. She looked tired, older. Her grey hair was stuffed under a packer's cap. Need to talk to you. Could have called. This ain't a phone conversation. They went inside. Vera poured coffee. They sat at the table. Same spots they always sat when Lois visited. Before all this, when Vera's biggest problem was whether to buy the cheap vodka or the slightly less cheap vodka. So, Lois said, "You want to tell me what the hell's going on? What do you mean? Don't bullshit me, Ver. I've known you 23 years. You don't do visitors. You don't do company. And you sure as hell don't do whatever the fuck this is." She gestured at the trailer, at the sleeping bag still on the couch, at the 2 bowls in the sink, at the carving on the shelf. Vera sipped her coffee, said nothing. "Paul Darnell called me," Lois continued. "Said he stopped by. Said you had a friend visiting. Said things felt off. Paul needs to mind his business. He's worried about you, so am I. I'm fine. Are you?" Lois leaned forward. "Because I'm hearing things, Ver, people talking, saying there's been sightings, tracks, strange shit happening in the woods, and you're right in the middle of it, living out here alone." "I'm not alone." The words came out before Vera could stop them. Lois froze. "What?" Vera set down her mug, looked at her friend, tried to figure out how to explain something that didn't make sense even to her. "I'm not alone," she said again. "I've got someone here, staying with me." "Who?" "Can't tell you." "The fuck you mean you can't?" "Lois." Vera's voice went hard. The nurse voice. The one she used when the drunk driver wanted to leave AMA with a skull fracture. "I can't. And you need to drop it." Lois stared at her. Something passed across her face. Not anger, understanding, or the beginning of it. "Jesus Christ," she said quietly. "It's one of them, isn't it?" Vera didn't answer. "The things people are seeing, the tracks. You've got one here." "I'm not confirming shit. You don't have to." Lois sat back, rubbed her face. "Vera, do you understand how dangerous this is? If people find out, nobody's finding out. Paul already suspects something. Paul can suspect all he wants. He's got no proof. Yet." Lois shook her head. "You can't keep this secret forever. Eventually someone's gonna see something, or hear something. And when they do, they're gonna come. With guns, with cameras, with whatever the fuck people bring when they think they've found Bigfoot. I'll handle it." "How?" Vera didn't have an answer for that. Lois softened, reached across the table, put her hand over Vera's. "I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm trying to keep you safe. You're all I've got left from the old days. Everyone else is dead or moved or stopped giving a damn. I'm not losing you too." Something in Vera's throat got tight. She squeezed Lois's hand. "I know. So what are you gonna do?" "I don't know." They sat there for a minute, just holding hands across the table, like they used to do in the ER break room after a bad shift, when some kid died, or some drunk asshole punched a nurse, or the hospital cut their hours again. Just sitting, breathing, existing together. "Can I meet them?" Lois asked quietly. Vera pulled her hand back. "No." "Why not?" "Because you'll try to help. You'll want to fix it, make a plan. And I don't need that right now. I just need..." She trailed off. "What?" "I just need this, whatever this is, for a little while longer." Lois studied her. then nodded. Okay, but Ver, you call me if shit goes sideways. Promise. Promise. After Lois left, Vera stood on the porch, watched the Subaru grind back down the muddy road. Watched until it disappeared. Behind her, the door opened. The kid stepped out, stood beside her. She knows, Vera said. The kid nodded. And if she knows, other people are gonna know soon. Another nod. We're running out of time, aren't we? The kid didn't respond, just looked at the trees. At the shapes Vera could barely see anymore, but knew were there. Always there. That night, Vera couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the drip of melting snow. Her mind spun, made plans, discarded them, made new ones. She could leave, pack up, take the kids somewhere else. Canada, maybe, somewhere remote. But she didn't have money for that, and she didn't know if the kid would even go. She could tell Paul the truth, get ahead of it. But what would that do? He'd have to report it. Then fish and wildlife would get involved. Then the media, then every asshole, with a podcast and a ring light, would descend on this place like locusts. Or she could do nothing. Keep living day by day. Hope nobody noticed. Hope the secret held. But secrets didn't hold. Not forever. She knew that. Around 3 a.m., she gave up on sleep, went to the kitchen. The kid was already there, sitting at the table in the dark. Can't sleep either? Vera asked. The kid shook its head. She sat down. They sat together in the dark, not talking, just being. Your people, Vera said eventually. The ones in the woods, they could protect you better than me. You know that, right? The kid looked at her. I'm just one person. Old. Tired. I can't fight off a whole town if they come. I can't hide you forever. The kid reached across the table, took Vera's hand. I don't want you to stay because you think you owe me something, Vera continued. Her voice cracked. I don't want you to stay because you feel sorry for me. If you need to go, you should go. The kid squeezed her hand. Hard. Then it stood, walked to the shelf, came back with Marissa's photo, set it on the table between them, pointed at the photo, then at Vera, then at itself. What are you saying? The kid kept pointing. Marissa, Vera, itself, and then Vera got it. The kid wasn't staying because it owed her. It was staying because it recognized something in her. The same thing she'd recognized in it that first night. Loss, grief, the specific kind of broken that comes from losing someone you were supposed to protect. You lost someone too, Vera whispered. The kid nodded. Who? The kid pointed at the window, at the woods, made a gesture small, low to the ground. A child. Your kid? Nod. What happened? The kid's eyes filled. Not tears. Something else. But wet. It made a sound. Low, guttural. Pain so deep it didn't have words. Vera understood. She didn't need details. Didn't need the story. Some pain was universal. I'm sorry, she said. The kid lowered its head. They sat there until the sun came up. Two broken things in a shitty trailer in the middle of nowhere, holding each other's grief like it was something physical, something that could be shared instead of carried alone. When the light hit the windows, Vera stood, made coffee, made eggs. They ate in silence. And then the trucks came. 3 of them, 450 seconds. Jacked up, mud splattered. They came fast, engines roaring, tearing up the road. Stopped in front of the trailer in a spray of slush. Vera's stomach dropped. She looked at the kid. Bedroom. Now. Under the bed. Don't come out. I don't care what you hear. The kid ran. Vera grabbed the shotgun, went to the door, opened it before they could knock. 5 men, mid-30s to mid-40s, camo jackets, boots. 2 of them had rifles. 1 had a crossbow. They all had that look. The one Vera knew from the ER. The drunk, confident look. The looking for trouble look. The one in front grinned. Morning, ma'am. Private property, Vera said. Turn around. Just wanted to ask you a few questions. I've got nothing to say. See, we've been tracking something. Big. Unusual. trail led us right to your property line." He gestured at the trees. "You seen anything strange lately?" "Nothing stranger than you assholes showing up on my land." The grin faded. "We're not looking for trouble." "Bullshit. You're looking for exactly that. Now get out." One of the others spoke up. Younger, eager. "Lady, there's something in these woods. Something big. We've got pictures. Videos. We're gonna find it. With or without your help." "Find it and then what?" Vera asked. "Shoot it? Post it on YouTube? Make yourselves famous?" "We're hunters. It's what we do. Hunters hunt deer. Elk. You're not hunters. You're assholes with guns." The leader's face hardened. "You're protecting it, aren't you?" "I'm protecting my property, which you're currently trespassing on. We know it's here. We found tracks. Fresh ones, leading right to your trailer." Vera's grip tightened on the shotgun. "I said get out. Or what? You gonna shoot us?" "If I have to." They stared at each other, 5 against 1. Vera was 62, arthritic, hadn't fired a gun in 3 years. But she'd worked the ER in Marquette on Friday nights. She'd stared down drunk drivers, wife beaters, meth heads trying to steal medication. She knew how to hold her ground. The leader smiled. "Cold. We'll be back. With more people, maybe the county, maybe fish and wildlife. And when we find what you're hiding, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Looking forward to it." They left, slow, taking their time, making a show of looking around, looking at the trailer, the tree line, the tracks in the mud. When they were gone, Vera closed the door, locked it. Her hands were shaking. She set the shotgun down, leaned against the wall. "You can come out," she called. The kid emerged. Its eyes were wide, terrified. "It's okay," Vera said. "They're gone." But they both knew it wasn't okay, and they both knew those men would be back. Vera grabbed her coat. "Stay here. Don't open the door for anyone." She went outside, walked to the tree line, looked into the shadows. "I know you're there," she called. "We need to talk." "Now." "Nothing. I'm serious. Those men are coming back, with more people. They know something's here, and when they come back, they're gonna find it." Still nothing. "God damn it. I'm trying to help." Movement. To her left. She turned. The scarred one stepped out, tall, imposing. It looked at her with those 2 aware eyes. "They're coming," Vera said. "I can't stop them. I can't protect your kid forever. You need to take it back. Take it somewhere safe." The scarred one stepped closer, looked past her, at the trailer, at the window where the kid was watching. Then it looked back at Vera, shook its head. "What do you mean, no?" It pointed at the trailer, at the kid, then at Vera, made that gesture, hands together. "You want it to stay with me?" Nod. "Why?" "I can't protect it. I'm one fucking person." The scarred one reached out, slowly, placed one massive hand on Vera's shoulder. It was heavy, warm, real. Then it did something Vera didn't expect. It spoke. The word was broken, mangled, but clear. "Safe." Vera's knees nearly gave out. "What? Safe? With you? I don't understand." The scarred one pulled its hand back, pointed at Vera, then at its own chest, over its heart. And Vera understood. Trust. That's what it was saying. The kid was safe with her. Not because she was strong, not because she had a gun, but because she cared. Because she'd opened the door. Because she'd fed and warmed and grieved with a creature she didn't understand. "I can't guarantee anything," Vera said. Her voice shook. "If they come with enough people," the scarred one nodded. It understood, but it didn't change its mind. It turned, walked back into the trees. Vera stood there, cold mud soaking through her boots. Her shoulder still warm, where the hand had been. Behind her, the door opened. The kid stepped out, walked to her, took her hand. They stood together at the edge of the woods, watching the shadows, waiting for what came next. They came back 2 days later. Not 5 men this time. 12, maybe 15. Vera stopped counting after 10. Trucks lined the road. More were parked at the bottom of the hill. She could see them from the window. Men with rifles. Cameras. One asshole had a drone. Paul Darnell was with them. That hurt worse than the rest. Vera stood on the porch, shotgun at her side. The kid was in the bedroom. She'd given it Tom's old hunting knife. Told it if shit went really bad, there was a back window. Run. Don't look back. Paul approached first. Alone. Hands visible. He looked tired. Guilty. Vera, he said. Paul, I need you to let us search the property. No. We have reason to believe you're harboring something dangerous. Harboring? What am I? Running a bed and breakfast. This isn't a joke. You're right. It's not. It's a violation of my rights. You got a warrant? He hesitated. No. But then get the fuck off my land. One of the hunters pushed forward, the leader from before. We don't need a warrant. We've got credible evidence of a dangerous animal. That gives us the right. You've got jack shit, Vera interrupted. You've got some tracks and a hard-on for YouTube views. That's not evidence. That's trespassing. Lady, we're coming in one way or another. Try it. See what happens. Paul stepped between them. Vera, please, don't make this harder than it has to be. You're making it hard, Paul. You and these assholes. I'm just standing on my porch. If you've got nothing to hide, let us look around. I've got everything to hide. It's called privacy. Something your daddy understood before the county made him start licking boots. That landed. Paul flinched. Behind him, the men were getting restless, muttering. One of them raised his rifle, not pointing it, just holding it ready. Vera raised the shotgun, not pointing either, just ready. First one who steps on my porch gets both barrels, she said, flat, calm. The way she used to tell families their loved one didn't make it. No emotion, just fact. Standoff. For 30 seconds. Nobody moved. Just stood there. Vera on the porch. 15 men in her yard. Cold wind blowing between them. Then a sound from the woods. Low. Deep. Not quite a growl. Not quite a roar. Something between. Something that made the hair on Vera's arms stand up. The men turned, rifles up, searching the trees. More sounds, from different directions, surrounding them. A chorus of something old and angry, and done with being hunted. One of the hunters fired, just shot into the trees. Panicked. The sound cracked through the air like a whip, and then they came. Not attacking, just showing themselves, stepping out from behind trees, standing at the edge of the clearing. 10. 15, 20, more. All of them tall, all of them still, all of them watching. The men froze. Holy shit, someone whispered. One of them raised a camera, started filming. The scarred one stepped forward, ahead of the others. It looked at Vera, then at the men. Then it did something Vera would never forget. It roared. Not loud, not aggressive. Just authoritative. A warning. A command. The sound rolled across the clearing like thunder. The men broke. Some ran for their trucks. Others just backed away, rifles shaking. Paul stood his ground longer than the rest, but even he retreated. Slow, hands up, eyes locked on the scarred one. Vera, he said, not looking at her, still watching the creatures. You need to come with us. It's not safe here. Safest I've felt in years, she said. They could kill you. They won't. How do you know? Because they're not the ones who showed up with guns. Paul finally looked at her. Something passed between them. Understanding, or loss, or both. I can't protect you if you stay, he said. Didn't ask you to. He left. The trucks peeled out. Engines roaring, mud flying. Within 5 minutes, they were all gone. The creatures stayed, still standing there, watching. Vera lowered the shotgun. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was hammering, but she kept her face neutral. The scarred one approached, stopped at the bottom of the steps. They looked at each other. Thanks, Vera said. It nodded, once. Then it turned, made a gesture to the others. They faded back into the woods, gone like smoke. Vera went inside, found the kid standing in the hallway. It had Tom's knife in one hand. Its other hand was shaking. "It's okay," Vera said. "They're gone." The kid dropped the knife, ran to her, wrapped its arms around her waist, held on tight. Vera's hands hovered for a second, then she put them on the kid's back, held it. "We're okay," she whispered. "We're okay." But she knew that wasn't true. That night, Lois called. "I heard what happened," she said. "No greeting, just that. Word travels fast. Paul called me. He's worried. Said you refused to evacuate." "Nothing to evacuate from. Vera, there's talk. People want to bring in fish and wildlife. Maybe even the National Guard. They're saying it's a public safety issue. It's not. You can't fight the whole county. Watch me." Silence. Then, "What's the plan here, Ver? You gonna live under siege? Spend the rest of your life defending this place?" "If I have to." "And what about the kid?" Vera's throat tightened. "What about it? You can't keep it forever. Eventually, something's gonna give. Either those assholes come back with enough people to overwhelm you, or the government gets involved, or someone gets hurt. You know this." "I know. So what are you gonna do?" Vera looked at the kid. It was on the couch, curled in Tom's sleeping bag. Eyes closed, breathing steady. Asleep. "I don't know," she said quietly. "You've got to have a plan." "I don't. I'm just trying to get through today. That's all I got." Another silence. Longer. "Okay," Lois said finally. "But when you figure it out, call me. I'll help however I can." "Thanks." After she hung up, Vera sat at the table, stared at her hands. They were old, wrinkled, scarred from years of needles and scalpels and broken glass. Capable once, maybe not anymore. She thought about Marissa, about all the times she'd tried to save her. Rehab, therapy, tough love, soft love, money, boundaries. Nothing had worked. And in the end, Marissa had died in a Walmart parking lot with a needle in her arm and her mother's broken ribs as a parting gift. She thought about Tom, about how she hadn't been able to save him either, how she'd gotten the call at work, how she'd driven to the mill, how they wouldn't let her see the body. Too mangled, they said. Closed casket, they said. She'd never gotten to say goodbye. Everyone she loved, she lost. That was the pattern. That was her life. And now here was the kid. Another broken thing she couldn't fix. Another life she'd inevitably failed to protect. She should send it away. Tell the scarred one to take it back. Before she got attached. Before she failed again. But when she looked at the kid sleeping on the couch, she knew it was too late. She was already attached. The next morning, she woke up to silence. Wrong kind of silence. She sat up, looked around. The kid wasn't on the couch. "Hey," she called. "Kid?" No answer. She got up, checked the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen. Nothing. Her chest tightened. She grabbed her coat, went outside. The kid was at the tree line, talking to the scarred one. Not talking, gesturing, hands moving. Body language Vera couldn't read, but understood anyway. An argument. She approached slow, didn't want to interrupt. But the kid saw her, turned. Its face was wet. Not tears exactly, but something. The scarred one looked at her. Then at the kid, then back at her. It spoke. That broken, mangled voice. "Time. Time for what?" Vera asked. "Go." The kid made a sound, sharp, desperate. It shook its head, hard, pointed at Vera, at the trailer, at itself. The scarred one knelt, put both hands on the kid's shoulders, spoke in that language Vera couldn't understand. Guttural, rhythmic, gentle. The kid's shoulders shook. Vera's throat closed. She knew what this was. "Goodbye." "Wait," she said. Her voice cracked. "You don't have to." The scarred one looked at her, shook its head. "Stay," it said. "Not safe. I'll keep it safe. You can't. I can try. You try. You fail. You die." The words hit like a punch, because they were true. and everyone knew it. Then we all die together, Vera said. Because I'm not sending it back. The scarred one stood, stepped toward her, towered over her. Close enough that she could feel the heat coming off its body. Smell the musk. See the scars crisscrossing its chest and arms. Why? It asked. Because it needs me. No. Why? Vera swallowed. Blinked hard. Because I need it. The scarred one stared at her. Long enough that Vera thought maybe she'd said the wrong thing. Maybe she'd broken some rule. Then it stepped back, looked at the kid, made a gesture. The kid ran to Vera, wrapped its arms around her waist. The scarred one placed one hand over its heart, then extended it toward Vera. Palm out. You mother now, it said. Vera couldn't breathe. What? You mother. You protect. You teach. You. It struggled for the word. Love. I don't know how to do that. Yes, you do. The scarred one turned, walked back into the woods. And this time, when it disappeared, Vera felt the weight of what had just happened. She wasn't just sheltering the kid anymore. She was raising it. April came. The mud dried. Green things started pushing up through the dead leaves. Birds returned. The world woke up. Vera taught the kid how to cook, how to wash dishes, how to fold laundry, basic shit, practical shit. The kid learned fast, watched everything, mimicked her movements. Within 2 weeks, it could make scrambled eggs. Within a month, it could do the laundry without being asked. But more than that, it learned her. Learned when she was having a bad day, when the arthritis was flaring, when the ghosts were too loud. On those days, the kid would bring her coffee, set it down without a word, sit nearby, just be present. Vera started talking more. Not about anything important, just talking. About Tom, about Marissa, about the ER, about the stupid things people did that landed them in her trauma bay. The kid listened. Sometimes it would make sounds, not words, but responses, acknowledgements, and slowly, Vera realized something. She wasn't empty anymore. The hollowness that had lived in her chest for 7 years was filling up, not with happiness, not yet, but with purpose, with routine, with the kind of quiet satisfaction that comes from making someone else's breakfast and watching them eat it. One morning in May, she woke up to find the kid standing over Marissa's photo, just looking at it. You okay? Vera asked. The kid turned, pointed at the photo, then at Vera. That's my daughter. Yeah, the kid pointed at itself. Then at the photo again. You're asking if you're like her? Nod. Vera sat up, rubbed her face. This was dangerous territory. I don't know, she said honestly. You both needed someone. And I tried to help Marissa. I really did, but I couldn't save her. The kid tilted its head. I'm scared I won't be able to save you either. The kid crossed the room, climbed onto the bed, sat facing her. Then it did something it had never done before. It spoke. The word was barely there. Soft, mangled, but unmistakable. Mom. Vera's vision blurred. What? Mom. No, don't. Her voice broke. Don't call me that. Why? Because I'll fail you. I fail everyone. And I can't. I can't do that again. I can't lose someone else. The kid reached out, put both hands on either side of Vera's face, held her there, forced her to look. Not lose, it said. Here, for now. But eventually, here, the kid repeated. Firm, stay. You can't promise that. Can. Do. Here. And Vera broke, just shattered. All the grief she'd been holding for 7 years came pouring out. She cried like she hadn't cried since the day they lowered Tom into the ground. Cried for Marissa, for Tom, for herself. For all the years she'd spent alone in this trailer, convincing herself she was fine when she was anything but. The kid held her, didn't let go, just held on while Vera fell apart. When she finally stopped, when there was nothing left, she pulled back, wiped her face. Okay, she said. Okay, you can call me that. if you want. The kid smiled. That small, quick smile. Mom, it said again, testing it, tasting the word. Yeah, Mom. I guess that's what I am now. They sat there for a while. The sun came up. Light filled the room. Outside, birds sang. Inside, something broken had finally started to heal. That afternoon, Vera went to the shed, dug through Tom's old tools, found what she was looking for, a woodworking set, chisels, sandpaper, a small handsaw. She brought it inside, set it on the table. You want to learn something? She asked the kid. The kid came over, curious. Your people carve things, right? Birds and shit? Nod. Okay, I'm gonna teach you how to do it the way Tom taught me. Back when we were first married, and broke as hell, and made all our Christmas presents, she pulled out a piece of scrap pine, set it down, picked up a chisel. First, you figure out what's trapped inside the wood. Then you just cut away everything that's not that thing. She made the first cut, showed the kid how to angle the blade, how to use controlled pressure, how not to split the grain. The kid watched, then tried, clumsy at first, but determined. They worked through the afternoon, Vera guiding, the kid learning. Outside, the creatures watched from the tree line, silent, patient. By evening, the kid had carved something, rough, unfinished, but recognizable. A person, standing, arms out. That me? Vera asked. The kid nodded. Not bad for your first try. The kid set it down, started another piece. This time, when Vera looked, she saw what it was carving. Two figures, standing together, hands clasped, and she understood. This was the kid's way of saying what it couldn't put into words yet. Family. They were family now. Summer he'd had. The kind of heat that made the UP feel like somewhere else entirely. Vera's trailer baked during the day. At night, they'd sit on the porch, trying to catch a breeze that never came. The kid had grown, not just physically, though it was taller now, stronger, but in other ways. It helped without being asked, anticipated what Vera needed before she said it, started making breakfast some mornings while she slept in. It was learning to read. Vera had found some of Tom's old books in the shed. Simple stuff. Field guides, hunting magazines. The kid would sit for hours, sounding out words, getting frustrated, trying again. That one's deer, Vera said one afternoon, pointing. Deer, the kid repeated. Close enough. They'd fallen into rhythms. Vera taught. The kid learned. They existed together in a way that felt less like coexistence and more like actual living. But the outside world hadn't forgotten. In June, a news crew showed up. Van with a satellite dish. Reporter with perfect hair and a microphone. They got as far as the property line before Vera met them with the shotgun. Private property, she said. Ma'am, we're just trying to. I know what you're trying to do. Answers. No. Leave. The public has a right to know. The public can go fuck itself. You've got 10 seconds. They left. But the damage was done. That night, the story aired. Local woman, allegedly harboring unknown creature. They used old footage from the standoff, showed her trailer, interviewed the hunters. Lois called. You need to see this. Already did. It's bad, Ver. They're making you sound crazy. Dangerous. Maybe I am. This isn't a joke. People are talking about getting you committed. They're saying you're a threat to yourself. Let them try. But it got worse. A week later, County Social Services showed up. Not Paul this time. A woman, mid-40s, clipboard. That smile they teach you in grad school. The one that says, I'm here to help, while their eyes say, I'm building a case. Miss Kowalski, I'm Sarah Chen. I'm a social worker with the county. We've had some concerns reported about your well-being. I'm fine. May I come in? Just to talk? No. Miss Kowalski, I understand you've experienced significant trauma. The loss of your daughter, your husband. It's completely understandable that you might be struggling. I'm not struggling. I'm living. There's a difference. Sarah's smile tightened. Several people have reported that you're behaving erratically, making claims about creatures in the woods, threatening people with firearms. I haven't threatened anyone who wasn't trespassing. Be that as it may, we have a responsibility to ensure you're safe, that you're not a danger to yourself or others. I'm not. Then let me do a welfare check. 5 minutes. I look around, make sure everything's okay, and I'm gone. Vera's jaw clenched. She knew how this worked. She'd done enough psych holds in the ER. Once they got inside, once they saw something they didn't like, the machinery started. Evaluation. Possible commitment. Then what happened to the kid? You got a warrant? Vera asked. I don't need one for a welfare check. Yeah, you do. This is private property. I'm not a danger. I'm capable. And I'm telling you to leave. Sarah wrote something on her clipboard. Okay, but Miss Kowalski, this doesn't end here. If you continue to refuse services, we'll have to escalate. For your own safety. She left, but Vera knew she'd be back. With more people, with authority she couldn't refuse. That night, she sat on the porch. The kid sat beside her. They watched the sun go down. Orange and red, bleeding across the sky. We might have to leave, Vera said. The kid looked at her. They're not going to stop. Eventually, they'll get a judge to sign something. They'll come with cops. They'll take me. And then, she trailed off. The kid's hand found hers. Squeezed. I don't know where we'd go, Vera continued. Don't have much money. Can't exactly rent an apartment with you. Can't cross the border without documentation. The kid pointed at the woods. Your people? Nod. I can't live out there. I'm old. Human. I need heat and running water and a bed. The kid thought about this. Then it stood, gestured for her to follow. They walked into the woods, deeper than Vera had ever gone. The kid moved confident, easy. Vera followed, stumbling over roots, breathing hard. After 20 minutes, they reached a clearing she'd never seen, and in the middle of it, a structure, not a building, more like a shelter, made from branches and mud and moss, but bigger than she expected, with an entrance, a roof, windows, actual windows, made from something translucent she couldn't identify. The scarred one stepped out. Behind it, others, maybe 10. They'd been waiting. You build this? Vera asked. The scarred one nodded. For me? Another nod. Vera walked to the entrance, looked inside. It was bigger than it appeared. One large room, a fire pit in the center vented through the roof. Sleeping area, storage. Crude but functional. How long have you been working on this? The scarred one held up fingers. 4 months. Since spring. You've been planning this? For when I'd have to run? Yes. Vera's throat tightened. She turned to the kid. You knew? The kid nodded. Why didn't you tell me? The kid pointed at the trailer, at the direction they'd come from, then at the shelter, then at Vera. You wanted me to choose. Nod. Vera looked at the shelter, at the creatures standing around it, at the forest pressing in on all sides. She thought about the trailer, about Tom's tools and Marissa's photo, and 7 years of self-imposed exile that had somehow become home. I need to think about this, she said. They walked back. The whole way, Vera's mind spun. Could she do it? Could she leave everything behind? Live in the woods, like some kind of hermit? But what was the alternative? Let them institutionalize her. Let them take the kid. When they got back to the trailer, Paul's truck was in the driveway. Shit, Vera muttered. The kid ducked into the bedroom without being told. Vera went to meet Paul on the porch. He looked worse than last time. Thinner, exhausted. I'm not here officially, he said before she could speak. Then why are you here? Because I owe it to Tom. And to you. He paused. They're filing for involuntary commitment. Sarah Chen got a judge to sign off. They're coming tomorrow, with deputies. They're gonna take you to Marquette for evaluation. Vera's blood went cold. Paul, I know. I tried to stop it. But they've got statements from multiple people, video footage of you threatening folks. They're saying you're delusional, dangerous. I'm not. I know that. You know that. But it doesn't matter. The machinery's in motion. How long do I have? They'll be here by noon tomorrow. Maybe sooner. Vera nodded, tried to keep her face neutral. Thanks for the heads up, Vera. Paul stepped closer, lowered his voice. Whatever you've got in there, whatever you're protecting, let it go. Tonight, before they come, let it disappear back into the woods where it came from. Then cooperate. Go to the evaluation. Let them see you're fine. You'll be home in a week. And if I don't, then they'll keep you longer. And when you're gone, they'll come back here. They'll search everything. They'll find evidence. And then you won't be coming home at all. He left. Vera stood on the porch, watching his taillights disappear. Inside, the kid was waiting. It had heard everything. We're leaving, Vera said. Tonight. Pack what we need. Food, water, warm clothes. We're going to that shelter. The kid nodded, started moving. Vera went to the bedroom, pulled out Tom's old rucksack, started filling it. Canned food, bottled water, first aid kit, flashlight, batteries, the basics. She grabbed Marissa's photo. Couldn't leave that. Tom's dog tags, his wedding ring, the carved bird from his journal. She looked around the trailer. 7 years of her life. The place where she'd grieved, where she'd barely survived, where she'd finally started living again. Fuck it, she whispered. She grabbed the vodka from the cupboard, unscrewed the cap, looked at it. Then she poured it down the sink. All of it. She didn't need it anymore. By midnight, they were packed. 2 bags. Essentials only. The kid had its cedar branch. Vera had her shotgun and Tom's knife. They stepped off the porch, started walking toward the woods. Behind them, the trailer sat dark and empty. All the lights off, door unlocked, like she was just stepping out for a minute. Like she'd be right back. But she wouldn't. The creatures met them at the tree line. The scarred one in front, others behind. They formed a loose circle around Vera and the kid. Protection. You ready? The scarred one asked. Vera looked back one more time. At the trailer. At the only home she'd had since Tom died. Then she looked at the kid. At the creatures. At this strange, impossible family she'd accidentally found. Yeah, she said. I'm ready. They walked into the forest. The darkness swallowed them whole. And somewhere behind her, Vera could hear sirens. Getting closer. Coming for her. But she was already gone. The shelter was crude but sturdy, better than Vera expected. The creatures had lined the sleeping area with moss and pine needles. There was firewood stacked outside, a water source a spring 50 feet away. That first night, Vera couldn't sleep. She lay on the moss bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the forest. Every sound made her jump. Every crack of a branch felt like deputies coming to drag her back. The kid slept beside her, one hand on her arm, anchoring her. Around 3 a.m., she gave up, went outside, sat by the fire pit. The scarred one was there, keeping watch. Can't sleep? It asked. Not used to this. You will be. How long have your people been out here? The scarred one tilted its head, thought about it. Always. Always? Before humans. Before towns. Always here. And you just avoid people? Yes. Safer. Unto me? Until you? They sat in silence. The fire crackled. Somewhere far off, an owl called. Why did you trust me? Vera asked. That first night, you could have just taken the kid and left. Why'd you let it stay? The scarred one looked at her. Its eyes reflected the firelight. Gold and ancient. You opened door, it said simply. That's it. Most don't. Most shoot. Most run. You opened door. Gave food. Gave warmth. That is rare. I'm not special. No. But you kind. That is special. Vera had no response to that. The scarred one stood. Sleep now. I watch. You safe. It walked to the edge of the clearing, stood sentinel, and Vera realized something. She wasn't alone anymore. Not just the kid. All of them, this whole tribe, family, whatever they were. They'd claimed her, protected her, accepted her. She went back inside, lay down next to the kid. This time, sleep came easier. Days became weeks. Vera adapted. Slowly, painfully, but she adapted. She learned which plants were edible, how to filter water, how to stay quiet when other hikers were nearby. The creatures taught her. Patient, gentle, the kid thrived. It was home here. It climbed trees like it was born to it, spoke more in its own language, smiled wider. But Vera struggled. Her joints ached. The moss bed killed her back. She missed coffee, missed running water, missed her bed. She didn't complain. What was the point? One morning, she woke to voices, human voices, close. She sat up. The kid was already awake, alert. The scarred one appeared in the doorway, put a finger to its lips. Silence. Vera held her breath. Listen. 2 men, maybe 3, hikers, passing through. They were loud, laughing, oblivious. Dude, I'm telling you, the Bigfoot shit is real. My cousin's friend saw one up near Ishpeming. Your cousin's friend is full of shit. Nah, man, there's videos, evidence. Yeah, and people fake that stuff for clicks. Their voices faded, heading away from the shelter. Away from them. Vera exhaled. That happened more often than she expected. Hikers, hunters, kids on 4-wheelers. The forest wasn't as empty as she'd thought, and every time she held her breath, waited, terrified. Someone would find them. Late July, Lois found them. Vera was gathering water from the spring when she heard it. A voice. Familiar. Vera? She turned. Lois stood 20 feet away. Alone, hands up, non-threatening. Jesus Christ, Lois said. You're really out here. How did you find me? Followed my gut. And Paul. He's been covering for you. Told everyone you probably headed to Canada, but I know you. You wouldn't leave the UP. Vera set down the water jug. You shouldn't be here. Probably not. But I needed to see if you were okay. I'm fine. You're living in the woods like a fugitive. Better than a psych ward. Lois stepped closer, looked at Vera. Really looked. You've lost weight. I'm fine. You don't look fine. What do you want me to say, Lois? That this is hard? It is. That I miss my bed and my coffee and not shitting in a hole I dug. I do. But it's this or lose everything. So I'm making it work, Lois softened. Let me help. How? I can bring supplies. Food, medicine, whatever you need. They'll follow you. They think you're gone. Paul's been keeping them off the trail. As long as you stay hidden, you're safe. And if they figure it out, then we deal with it. Vera wanted to say no, wanted to protect Lois, keep her out of this mess. But she was tired and hungry, and the idea of real food, real medicine, made her want to cry. Okay, she said, but you can't tell anyone. Not Paul. Not anyone. Deal. Lois started coming once a week. She'd park miles away, hike in, bring supplies, spend an hour, leave before anyone noticed. She brought food, batteries, books, news from town. They're still looking for you, she said one visit. Sarah Chen is convinced you're having a mental breakdown. Paul's playing along, telling them you probably drowned in the lake or something. And they believe that? They want to. Easier than admitting they drove you into the woods. Vera smiled. Grim. How long can this last? I don't know. But as long as it does, I'll keep coming. August. The kid's language skills improved. It could speak in full sentences now. Broken, rough, but understandable. Mom, food ready? Yeah, come eat. They ate together. Rabbit the creatures had caught, roasted over the fire. It tasted like dirt and smoke and survival. You happy here? Vera asked. The kid thought about it. Yes, but what? You not happy? Vera's chest tightened. I'm fine. No, you hurt. Every day. I see. It's just my back. The moss bed. Not body hurt, ear hurt. The kid pointed at Vera's chest. Heart hurt. Vera set down her food. Yeah, it does. Why? Because I miss my old life. Even though it wasn't much of a life, I miss having a roof, a kitchen, a bathroom. I miss feeling like a person instead of a fugitive. We go back? Can't. Why? Because if we do, they'll take me away. And then I won't be able to protect you. The kid moved closer, put its head on Vera's shoulder. I protect you. Vera's eyes burned. I know, baby. I know. They sat like that until the fire died. Two broken things holding each other in the dark. September came cold and early. Frost on the ground by morning. Leaves turning. The forest preparing for winter. And Vera realized she had a problem. She couldn't survive another winter out here. The shelter wasn't insulated. She had no propane heater, no wood stove. The creatures could handle it. They'd evolved for this climate. But she was 62 with arthritis and lungs that had breathed in too much ER disinfectant over the years. She'd freeze to death before March. The kid knew it too. She could see the worry in its eyes. The way it watched her when she coughed, when her hands shook in the cold. We need to figure something out, she told Lois during her next visit. Like what? I don't know, but I can't winter here. I'll die. Lois sat down on a log, rubbed her face. There might be a way. I'm listening. Sarah Chen closed your case. What? Last month. She filed you as missing, presumed dead, said there was no point wasting county resources on someone who clearly didn't want help. So I'm legally dead? Presumed, not declared. But yeah, basically. Which means they're not looking anymore. Right. You could come back. Quietly, move into the trailer. Keep your head down. As long as you don't make waves, nobody's gonna care. Vera's heart hammered. What about the kid? That's the part I don't have an answer for. They sat in silence. The kid was off with some of the younger creatures, learning to hunt, learning to be what it was. I can't leave it, Vera said. I know, but I can't keep living out here either. I know. So, what the fuck do I do? Lois had no answer. That night, Vera lay awake. The kid snored softly beside her. She thought about the trailer, about heat and running water and a real bed, about coffee in the morning and TV at night, and all the little comforts she'd taken for granted. She thought about Marissa, about the 100 times she'd chosen between her daughter and her own well-being, the jobs she'd missed, the sleep she'd sacrificed, the money she'd spent on rehab that never worked. She'd chosen Marissa every time. And Marissa had still died. Was that what this was? History repeating. Was she going to sacrifice herself again for someone she couldn't save? But when she looked at the kid sleeping peaceful, one hand still clutching that cedar branch, she knew it wasn't the same. Marissa had been sick, addicted, beyond help. Maybe beyond Vera's ability to help, at least. The kid wasn't sick, wasn't broken. It was just different. And it needed her. Not to save it, just to be there. Maybe that was enough. October. The creatures started preparing, storing food, reinforcing shelters, getting ready for the long freeze. The scarred one approached Vera one morning. You go, it said. Not a question, a statement. What? Winter come. You go. Back to house. I can't. They'll find me. They stopped looking. Woman say so. It meant Lois. But the kid stay or kid go. Your choose. Vera's throat closed. You're saying I have to pick? Between the kid and surviving? No. Say you choose. Kid choose. Then you both know. That night, Vera sat the kid down. They were alone. Fire crackling. Stars visible through the smoke hole. We need to talk, Vera said. The kid looked at her. Serious? I can't stay here through winter. I'll die. You know that, right? Nod. So I have two choices. I can go back to the trailer, alone, and you stay here with your people. Or, she swallowed hard, or you come with me. And we figure it out, somehow. Together, if you want. But kid, You need to understand what that means. If you come with me, you can never leave. You can never go outside. You can't make noise. You can't be seen. You'd be a prisoner, trapped in that trailer, maybe for years, maybe forever. The kid thought about this. You there? Yeah, I'd be there. Then I come. Baby, you don't understand. I understand. I stay here, safe, free, with my people. Or I come with you, not safe, not free, but together. The kid reached out, took Vera's hand. Choose together. Vera's eyes burned. You'd really give up everything? Just to stay with me? You give up everything. For me, that's different. No, same. Family same. And Vera realized the kid was right. This wasn't sacrifice. It was choice. They were both choosing each other. Fully. Completely. Okay, she said. Okay, we'll go back. Together. And we'll figure out how to make it work. The kid smiled, hugged her. Over her shoulder, Vera saw the scarred one watching from the tree line. It nodded once. Approval. Or understanding. Or goodbye. They moved back to the trailer on a Tuesday. Middle of October. Cold rain falling. Perfect weather for not being seen. Lois helped. She'd gone ahead, made sure the place was empty. No squatters. No cops waiting. Just dust and silence, and the ghost of Vera's old life. Vera and the kid slipped in through the back. The creatures watched from the woods, present, but invisible. Inside, everything was exactly as she'd left it. Dishes in the sink, her vodka bottle empty now on the counter, Tom's tools on the table. Home, the kid whispered. Yeah, home. They spent the first day cleaning, sweeping out months of dust and mouse droppings, opening windows to air the place out, checking that the water still worked, the propane still flowed. It did. Everything worked. Like the trailer had been waiting. That night, they ate real food. Soup from a can heated on the stove, bread from the store that Lois had brought. It tasted like heaven. The kid kept looking around, touching things. The couch, the table, the photos on the shelf. Missed this? Vera asked. Yes, but also, the kid struggled for words. Scared. Of what? Men come back. Take you. Take me. They won't. We're dead, remember? Presumed dead. They're not looking anymore. But if they find, they won't. We'll be careful. You stay inside. I'll go out only when necessary. We'll keep the curtains drawn. We'll be ghosts. Ghosts can't hug. Vera smiled. No, they can't. But we're not really ghosts. We're just really good at hiding. The first week was hard. The kid wasn't used to being confined. It paced, stared out windows, made Vera nervous every time it got close to the glass. You got to stay back from the windows, Vera said for the 10th time. I know, but I see them, my people, in trees. They checking on you? Yes. Want to know I'm okay. Are you? Okay. The kid thought about it. Getting there, they fell into new routines. Vera started cooking again. Real meals. The kid helped. They'd work side by side in the tiny kitchen, bumping into each other, laughing when something spilled. Vera taught the kid to read better. They'd sit together on the couch, working through Tom's old Field and Stream magazines. The kid struggled with longer words, but never gave up. At night, they'd sit by the window, lights off, curtains cracked just enough to see and watch the forest. Sometimes they'd see shapes moving between the trees. The kid would press its hand against the glass. The shapes would pause, not quite waving, just acknowledging. November. Snow came. Light at first, then heavier. The world went white and quiet. Vera's arthritis flared. Bad. The cold worked its way into her joints, made every movement hurt. Some mornings, she couldn't get out of bed without help. The kid learned to help. It would bring her medicine. Warm up heating pads in the microwave. Make coffee exactly how she liked it. You're getting good at this, Vera said one morning. You teach me. I taught you basics. You're doing more than that. You're taking care of me. You take care of me. I take care of you. Family. Vera's chest ached. Not from arthritis. From something else. Something she hadn't felt since before Marissa died. Love. Uncomplicated. Mutual. Real. Yeah, she said softly. Family. One night in late November, someone knocked on the door. Vera froze. The kid disappeared into the bedroom without being told. She grabbed the shotgun, approached the door. Who is it? It's Paul. Shit. She opened the door 6 inches. Shotgun visible. You lost? Paul looked different. Older. Tired. Can I come in? No, Vera. Please. I'm not here to arrest you. I'm not here officially at all. Then what do you want? I want to know if you're okay. I'm fine. You're supposed to be dead. Yeah, well, rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated. Paul almost smiled. Almost. I knew you were back. Saw smoke from the chimney. Figured it was you or squatters. Hoped it was you. Why? Because I owe Tom. And because. He paused. Because I've been thinking about what we did. Running you out of your own home. Treating you like a threat when all you were doing was living your life. That wasn't right. Little late for apologies. I know. But I needed to say it anyway. They stood there, cold air bleeding in through the gap. You really not here to cause trouble? Vera asked. I really not. She opened the door wider. 5 minutes. He came in, stomped snow off his boots, looked around. His eyes caught on things. The 2 coffee mugs, the sleeping bag back on the couch, the carvings on the shelf. You're not alone, he said quietly. No, it's still here. The thing, whatever it is. Don't call it that. What should I call it? Family. Paul looked at her for a long time. Then he nodded. Okay, you gonna report this? No. Why not? Because Tom was my friend, and he wouldn't want me to. Whatever you've got going on here, whatever you're protecting, it's not my business. As long as nobody gets hurt, I don't care. Nobody's getting hurt. Then we're good. He turned to leave, paused at the door. Vera, if you need anything, food, medicine, whatever, you call me. Okay. Okay. After he left, the kid emerged from the bedroom. He knows. Yeah? He tell others? No, I don't think so. How you know? Because he's Tom's friend. And some things matter more than rules. December. Christmas approached. Vera hadn't celebrated in years, hadn't seen the point. But the kid was fascinated by the concept. What is Christmas? It asked. Holiday. People give gifts. Spend time with family. Eat too much. We do that. Vera thought about it. Why not? What else did they have? Yeah, we do that. She asked Lois to bring supplies on her next visit. Nothing fancy, just some ingredients for cookies, maybe a small tree. Lois brought a 3-foot pine from the gas station. Pre-lit, tacky as hell. Perfect, Vera said. They set it up in the corner. The kid was mesmerized. It would sit and stare at the lights for hours. Christmas Eve, Vera made cookies, cut out shaped like stars and trees. The kid helped, got flour everywhere, ate half the dough. These are good, it said, mouth full. Don't talk with your mouth full. Sorry, Mom. Mom. The kid said it naturally now, no hesitation, like it had always been true. That night, after the cookies were done, Vera pulled out 2 packages, wrapped in newspaper, because she didn't have real wrapping paper. What's this? The kid asked. Presents. For Christmas. You're supposed to open them tomorrow, but fuck it. Open them now. The kid tore into the first package. Inside, a carving knife. Small, sharp, perfect for its hands. So you can make your own carvings, Vera said. Don't have to use my shitty tools. The kid held it, like it was made of gold. Thank you. Open the other one. The second package contained a photo, framed. It was from Lois's last visit. She'd taken it without telling them. Vera and the kid sitting on the porch. The kid's head on Vera's shoulder. Both of them smiling. The kid stared at it, touched the glass. Us? Yeah, us. Family. The kid set down the photo carefully. Then it ran to the bedroom, came back with something wrapped in an old t-shirt. "For you," it said. Vera unwrapped it. Inside, a carving, wood, intricate, beautiful. 2 figures, one tall, one small, standing together, hands clasped. But this time, the details were perfect. The tall figure had Vera's face, her wrinkles, her tired eyes. The small figure had the kid's features, its fur, its gentle expression, and beneath them, carved in rough letters, family. Vera couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. She just held the carving and cried. The kid climbed into her lap, wrapped its arms around her. "You like it? I love it," Vera whispered. "I love you too, Mom." They sat there under the cheap gas station Christmas tree, holding each other, while snow fell outside and the forest kept watch, and somewhere in the distance, creatures that shouldn't exist sang something that might have been a song, or might have been goodbye, or might have been both. And for the first time in a decade, Vera Kowalski felt complete. Winter dug in hard. January was brutal. Temperatures dropped to 20 below. The kind of cold that made the trailer creak and groan like it might split apart. Vera's propane bill was going to be insane. She didn't care. They kept the heat cranked, wore layers anyway. The kid adapted better than she did. Its fur thickened. It would sit by the window, watching the snow, not even shivering. "You miss being out there?" Vera asked one afternoon. The kid thought about it. "Sometimes. Miss running, miss trees, miss sky. I'm sorry. Don't be. I choose this. Choose you. Doesn't mean it doesn't suck." The kid smiled. Little bit suck, but also little bit good. They made it work. The kid learned to move quiet through the trailer. Learned which floorboards creaked. Learned to freeze when cars passed on the road rare. But it happened. Vera kept the curtains drawn. Went into town only when absolutely necessary. Wore a hat pulled low. Avoided eye contact. Became invisible. It worked until February. She was at the IGA, buying supplies. Trying to be quick. In and out. She had her basket half full when she heard it. "Vera?" She turned. Fucking Sarah Chen, the social worker, standing there with her own basket, looking shocked. I thought you were dead," Sarah stammered. Vera's mind raced. "Nope, still kicking. But the report was wrong. I went to stay with family in Wisconsin. Needed space. I'm back now." Sarah's eyes narrowed, professional skepticism kicking in. "Family in Wisconsin? Yep. You don't have family in Wisconsin. Distant cousins. You don't know my whole life. Where are you staying?" "My place." "The trailer? I thought the county was going to seize it." "They didn't. Still mine. Still living there." Sarah set down her basket. Pulled out her phone. "I need to call this in." "Why?" "I'm not a danger to anyone. You fled a mental health evaluation. There's protocols. There's jack shit. You closed my case. I'm presumed dead. Remember, can't evaluate a dead woman." "That was before." "Before what?" "Before you ran into me buying groceries." "That's not a crime. I'm living my life, paying my bills, not bothering anyone. What's the problem?" Sarah hesitated. Vera could see her thinking, calculating, trying to figure out if this was worth the paperwork. "I need to at least file a report," Sarah said finally. "Update your status." "Fine, file your report. But I'm not doing another evaluation. I'm not voluntarily committing myself. And unless you've got a warrant, I'm leaving." Vera grabbed her basket, walked to the checkout, paid, left. Her hands shook the whole drive home. When she got there, the kid was waiting, anxious. It had watched from the window. "Problem?" it asked. "Maybe. Social worker saw me. Knows I'm alive. Might cause trouble. What we do, we wait. See what happens. Be ready to run if we have to." That night, neither of them slept. They sat in the dark, watching the road, waiting for headlights that didn't come. Morning came. Nothing. Another day, still nothing. A week passed, then two. Lois finally brought news. Sarah filed a report, updated your status to alive. But that's it. She's not pushing for another evaluation. Why not? Paul talked to her, told her you've been through enough, that if you're managing, they should leave you alone. She's not happy about it, but she's backing off. Vera sagged with relief. Paul did that. Yeah, he's been different lately. I think seeing you survive out there changed something for him. Made him realize not everyone fits in the neat little boxes the system wants. Tell him thanks. Tell him yourself. He's outside. Vera went to the door. Paul was on the porch, hat in hands, looking nervous. Hey, he said. Hey, heard what happened at the IGA. Wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Thanks for talking to Sarah. Yeah, well, seemed like the right thing to do. He paused. Vera, I need to ask you something, and I need an honest answer. Her stomach tightened. Okay, are you safe in there? With whatever you've got? Yes, you're sure? Because if you're in danger, if you're being held against your will, or Paul, I'm safe. I'm happy. For the first time in years, I'm actually fucking happy. Can you just let me have that? He studied her face, looking for lies, for fear. He didn't find any. Okay, he said. Okay, I believe you. He left, and Vera stood on the porch, breathing in the cold air, feeling something close to freedom. March arrived like a blessing. The snow started melting. Ice broke up on the lake. Birds returned. The world thawed. The kid got restless again. Spring fever. It would pace, stare out windows, press its face against the glass. You need to get outside, Vera said one evening. Can't. Someone see me. Not if we're careful. We wait until dark. You go out back, into the woods, just for an hour. Let you stretch your legs. You come too? Can't keep up with you, but I'll watch from the porch. That night, they did it. The kid slipped out the back door, moved into the trees, and Vera watched as it ran, really ran, fast and free and wild, leaping over logs, climbing trees, moving through the forest like water. The other creatures appeared. Drawn by the movement, they ran with the kid, played. It had been months since they'd seen each other. The reunion was joyful, silent but joyful. The scarred one approached the porch, looked up at Vera. Thank you, it said, for keeping safe. It's keeping me safe too. Yes, that is why it works. How are your people? Everyone make it through winter? Yes, hard winter. But we survive, always survive. You ever think about leaving? Going somewhere with fewer people? The scarred one tilted its head. This is home. We here before people. We'll be here after. We not leave, even if it gets dangerous. Especially then. Someone must remember. Someone must stay. Vera thought about that, about staying, about being stubborn enough to exist in a world that didn't want you. Yeah, she said, I get that. The scarred one nodded. Then it turned, called to the kid. Time to come back. The kid returned, breathless, smiling, covered in pine needles. Feel better? Vera asked. Much better. Thank you, Mom. They went inside. The kid showered it, had learned to love hot water, and Vera made dinner. Pasta, simple, warm. Can we do that again? The kid asked. Go outside at night? Yeah, we can make it a regular thing. Once a week. Give you time with your people. They miss me. I know, but they understand. They say I'm where I need to be. You believe that? The kid looked at her. Yes, this is where I need to be. With you. April. Vera's 63rd birthday. She didn't mention it. Didn't think the kid knew about birthdays anyway. But when she woke up, there was a gift on the kitchen table, wrapped in leaves, tied with grass. She opened it. Inside, a carving, more intricate than anything the kid had made before. It showed the trailer, the woods behind it, and standing on the porch, two figures, looking out together. Happy birthday, Mom, the kid said from the doorway. How did you know? Loy, tell me. She helped me with gift. You made this. Yes. Take long time. Want it perfect. Vera held it like it might break. It is perfect. You like? I love it. Thank you. They spent the day together, doing nothing special. Cooking, reading, sitting on the porch in the weak spring Sunday. The kid told stories about its people, about their language, their traditions. Vera listened, learned. That evening, Lois showed up with a cake, small, from the bakery in town. Happy birthday, Ver. You didn't have to. I know, but I wanted to. They ate cake, the three of them. Lois asked questions, gentle ones, about how they were managing. The kid answered, shy at first, then more confident. By the end, it was telling jokes, making Lois laugh. After Lois left, Vera and the kids sat on the porch, watching the stars come out. This is good day, the kid said. Yeah, it was. You happy? Yeah, baby. I'm happy. Me too. They sat in comfortable silence. Somewhere in the woods, an owl called. Another answered. The world moved around them, indifferent, beautiful, ongoing. Mom? Yeah? When I grow up, you are growing up. No, I mean, when I'm bigger, when I'm adult. What happens? Vera's chest tightened. She'd been avoiding thinking about that, about the future, about what happened when the kid got too big to hide, too adult to be ignored. I don't know, she said honestly. We'll figure it out. Maybe I go live with my people again. Maybe. But still visit you. I'd like that. Or maybe, the kid hesitated. Maybe there's a way. Both. Some way I can be with them, and with you. Like what? Don't know yet. But maybe we find it. Together. Yeah, maybe we will. May brought rain. Steady. Soaking. The kind that turned everything green overnight. Vera's garden, she'd started one in the back, hidden from the road, exploded with life. The kid helped plant, learned about vegetables, about seasons, about patience. Why we grow food, it asked, when we can buy. Because it's good to know how. In case we can't buy someday. You think that happen? I think it's smart to be ready. They worked side by side. Vera's knees hurt. Her back ached, but she felt useful, present, alive. One afternoon, they were weeding when they heard it. A vehicle coming up the drive, fast. Vera's heart dropped. Inside. Now, the kid ran. Vera grabbed her shotgun, went to meet whoever it was. A pickup truck, newish. She didn't recognize it. It stopped. A man got out, late 50s, flannel shirt, work boots. He had a camera around his neck. Help you? Vera called. Hope so. Name's Jim Patterson. I'm a wildlife photographer. I've been tracking something in these woods. Something unusual. Lot of unusual wildlife around here. Not like this. He pulled out his camera, showed her the screen. A photo, blurry, taken from distance, but unmistakable. One of the creatures, standing in a clearing. Vera's blood ran cold. Don't know what that is. Come on, I've done my research. I know they're here. I know they're real. And I think. He looked at her trailer, at the surrounding woods. I think you know where they are. I don't know anything. I'm willing to pay. For information, for access. Name your price. Not for sale. Ma'am, this could be the biggest discovery in modern biology. This could change everything. Don't you want to be part of that? No, I want you to leave. I'm not leaving until. Vera raised the shotgun. Yeah, you are. Jim's face hardened. You're making a mistake. Won't be my first. Won't be my last. Now get out. He left. But Vera knew this wasn't over. That night, she called an emergency meeting. Not just the scarred one. All of them. Every creature within range. They came. 30, maybe 40, filled the clearing behind the trailer. Silent. Waiting. There's a man, Vera said. A photographer. He has pictures. He's looking for you, and he's not going to stop. The creatures murmured. A ripple of sound. I don't know what to do, Vera continued. I can't stop him, can't make him disappear. And if he publishes those photos, if he brings more people, this is over. All of it. You'll have to leave. Or worse. The scarred one stepped forward. What you think we should do? I think. Vera swallowed hard. I think you should leave. Now, before he finds you, go deeper into the wilderness. Canada, Alaska, somewhere remote, somewhere safe. And you? I stay. I'm old. I'm human. Nobody cares about me. But you. You're what they want. So you go. The creatures looked at each other. Some kind of silent communication. Then the scarred one spoke. No. What? We not leave. This is home. We stay. You'll be discovered. Hunted. Turned into a circus. Maybe. But we not run. We here first. We stay. If humans come, we deal with them. But we not run. Vera wanted to argue. Wanted to make them see reason. But looking at them at their faces, their determination, she understood. They'd been running for centuries. Hiding. Surviving in the margins. They were done. Okay, she said. Then we stand together, whatever comes. The scarred one nodded. Together, the creatures dispersed, fading into the forest. But Vera knew they were watching, waiting, ready. Inside, the kid was at the window. They not leaving? No. Good. I not want them to leave. Me neither. But kid, this might get bad. I know, but we family. Family stays. Yeah, family stays. Jim Patterson came back 3 days later, this time with friends. 4 of them. 2 had cameras. 1 had what looked like recording equipment. The 4th had a rifle. Vera met them at the property line. Shotgun visible. This is private property, she said. We know. We're not here to cause trouble. Just want to set up some trail cameras. Document what's out here. Answers no. Ma'am, with all due respect, we don't need your permission. These woods are public access from the north side. We can set up cameras anywhere we want. Not on my land, you can't. We're not asking to go on your land. Just the forest. The public forest. Vera's jaw clenched. He was right. Technically. The north side connected to state land. They could access it without crossing her property. You're wasting your time, she said. Maybe. But it's our time to waste. They left, but Vera watched them hike north, into the woods, where the creatures lived. That night, she went to the clearing. The scarred one was waiting. They're setting up cameras, she said. In the woods. I can't stop them. We know. We watch them. What are you going to do? Avoid cameras. Stay hidden. We good at this. For how long? They're not going to give up. Then we wait. Patience always wins. But Vera wasn't sure about that. These men had resources. Time. Obsession. That was a dangerous combination. Over the next 2 weeks, more people came. Word had spread. The blurry photo had made its way onto cryptid forums. Reddit. YouTube. Every asshole with a podcast wanted to be the one to prove Bigfoot existed. The woods filled with hikers. Cameras, motion sensors, drone footage. The creatures went deep, avoided contact. But it was only a matter of time. Vera stopped sleeping. She'd lie awake, listening, waiting for the sound of discovery. For the moment, everything fell apart. The kid noticed. You sick? Just tired. You worried? Yeah. About my people? About all of us? The kid climbed into bed beside her. Something it hadn't done in months. It was bigger now, nearly 5 feet tall, still growing. Mom, if they find us, if they take me, you be okay? No, I wouldn't be, but you survive. You strong. I'm not strong. I'm just stubborn. Same thing. Vera pulled the kid close. I don't want to lose you. You won't, I promise. You can't promise that. I can try. They lay there in the dark. 2 heartbeats. 1 human, 1 not. Both terrified. Both trying to be brave. June. The first real footage hit the internet. Jim Patterson had gotten it. A clear shot. 10 seconds. One of the younger creatures, crossing a stream, unmistakable, undeniable. The video went viral. Within 48 hours, it had 20 million views. The town exploded. News crews, scientists, government officials. The FBI showed up, Fish and Wildlife, Department of Natural Resources. They set up a command center in town, started coordinating search efforts, talking about securing the area, about protecting a potentially endangered species. But Vera knew what that meant. Capture, study, containment. She called Lois. We need to leave. Now, tonight. Where will you go? I don't know. Canada. Somewhere. Anywhere. Vera, they've got roadblocks. They're checking every vehicle, looking for suspicious activity. You won't make it out. Then what do I do? Silence. Then, I don't know, Ver. I'm sorry. I don't know. Vera hung up, sat at the kitchen table, head in her hands. The kid touched her shoulder. We run. Into woods. Live with my people. I can't survive out there long term. You know that. Then what? I don't know. That night, Paul showed up. He looked wrecked. They're organizing a sweep. Tomorrow morning, they're going to comb the entire forest. With thermal imaging, dogs, everything. Can you stop it? No. I'm just a ranger. This is federal now. I can't do shit. Then why are you here? Because I wanted to warn you. Whatever you're protecting, whatever you've got hidden, tomorrow it's over. They're going to find it. And when they do, there's going to be questions about how long you've known, about why you didn't report it. You could go to jail, Vera. I don't care. You should. Paul, I've buried a daughter, a husband. I've spent years wishing I was dead. You think I'm scared of jail? He looked at her. Really looked. No, I guess you're not. Is that all? One more thing. The sweep starts at dawn. Eastern perimeter. They're moving west. You've got maybe 6 hours before they reach your property. Why are you telling me this? Because Tom was my friend. And because some things matter more than protocol. He left. Vera stood on the porch, looking at the woods, at the stars, at the world she'd fought so hard to keep. 6 hours. She went inside. Woke the kid. Get dressed. Grab what you need. We're leaving. Where we go? Deep. As deep as we can get. We find your people. We hide. And we hope to God they don't find us. They packed fast. Food. Water. Warm clothes. First aid supplies. Everything they could carry. At midnight, they slipped out the back. Into the forest. The creatures were waiting. Like they'd known this was coming. The scarred one approached. They come tomorrow? Yes. Dawn. They'll sweep the entire forest. Then we go, all of us, to the deep places, where humans don't go. How far? Far. Days of walking. Hard terrain. You able? Vera looked at the kid, at the creatures, at the only family she had left. I'm able. They moved through the night. Silent. Fast. The creatures knew the land like it was written in their bones. They took paths that didn't exist, cut through ravines and over ridges that had no names. Vera struggled. Her arthritis screamed. Her lungs burned, but she kept moving. The kid stayed close, helped when she stumbled, never complained when they had to slow down. By dawn, they were 10 miles deep, in a part of the forest Vera had never seen. Old growth, thick canopy, the kind of place that swallowed light. They kept moving, through the day, into another night. Vera lost track of time, lost track of distance. Everything became trees and pain, and one foot in front of the other. On the third day, they reached it, a valley, hidden, surrounded by cliffs on 3 sides. The only access was through a narrow gap that you'd never find unless you knew it was there. Inside the valley, there were caves, natural shelters, a stream, edible plants, everything they needed. Here, the scarred one said, this is sanctuary. They never find this place. Vera collapsed, just sat down hard on the ground. The kid sat beside her. We safe? the kid asked. For now. Around them, the creatures began setting up, building fires, organizing sleeping areas. They moved with practiced efficiency, like they'd done this before, maybe many times. The scarred one brought Vera water. Rest. Tomorrow we talk. Tonight, you sleep. Vera wanted to argue, wanted to stay alert, but exhaustion won. She lay down on the moss, the kid curled up beside her, and despite everything, she slept. She woke to voices, human voices. Her eyes snapped open. She reached for the shotgun that wasn't there. She'd left it at the trailer. The kid was already up, tense, ready to run. The voices got closer. 2 men, maybe 3, hikers, from the sound of it. Lost, arguing about which direction to go. The creatures had frozen, silent, invisible in the shadows. Vera held her breath, prayed they'd pass by. Miss the gap, keep going. The voices faded, heading north, away from them. Everyone exhaled. Too close, the scarred one said. They're everywhere, Vera replied. The whole forest is crawling with people. How long they search, until they find something, or give up. Could be days, could be weeks. We can wait. We have food, water, time. And what about after? Even if they give up, there'll be cameras, sensors. They'll monitor these woods for years. The scarred one said nothing, because there was nothing to say. They both knew the truth. This was the end, one way or another. Days passed. They stayed hidden, took turns keeping watch, rationed food, waited. Vera's body gave out on day 5. The arthritis, the cold, the stress. She woke up barely able to move, fever burning through her. The kid panicked. Mom? Mom? Wake up! Vera tried to speak. Couldn't. Her mouth was dry. Her head pounded. The scarred one came over, touched her forehead. Infection. She needs medicine. Where we get medicine? The kid asked. Town. Hospital. Can't get there. Then she did? The scarred one looked at Vera. At the kid? Maybe. No. The kid stood. No. I go. I get medicine. Too dangerous. Don't care. She needs help. I get help. You can't go to town. Humans see you. Then I'm careful. I go at night. I'm fast. I can do this. The scarred one studied the kid. Saw something there. Determination. Love. Desperation. Okay, it said finally. But not alone. I come too. They left that night. The kid and the scarred one, moving through the forest like ghosts. Vera drifted in and out of consciousness. She dreamed about Marissa, about Tom, about all the people she'd lost. In her dream, Marissa sat beside her, young, healthy, before the drugs. You did good? Mom, Marissa said. I failed you. No, you loved me. That's not the same as failing. I couldn't save you. Nobody could save me. I had to save myself. And I didn't. But that's not your fault. I miss you. I know, but you've got someone else now. Someone who needs you. Don't fail them by giving up. I'm tired. I know, but you're not done yet. Vera woke to the kid shaking her. Mom, Mom, I have medicine. Wake up. She opened her eyes. The kid's face swam into focus, tears streaming down its fur. Took these from clinic, the kid said. Man at desk. He's sleeping. I went in window, found medicine, brought back. It held out a bottle. Antibiotics, probably amoxicillin. The scarred one helped Vera sit up. Got water down her throat. Then the pills. Good, it said. Now she rest. Medicine work. She be okay. You promise? I promise. The kid lay down beside Vera, held her hand. Don't leave me, it whispered. Please don't leave me. Vera squeezed back. Weak, but present. Not leaving, just resting. She drifted off again. But this time, the dreams were quieter, gentler. 2 days later, the fever broke. Vera woke up clear-headed, weak as hell, but alive. The kid was right there. Mom? Hey, baby. "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay." She looked at the kid, at the scratches on its arms, the exhaustion in its eyes. "You saved me. You saved me first. Many times, I just return favor." Vera pulled the kid close, held tight. "Thank you." They stayed like that for a long time, just holding each other, grateful, alive. That afternoon, the scarred one came to Vera. "Search is ending." "What?" "Humans are leaving, packing up equipment, going home." "Why?" "Don't know. But scouts say command center is closing. Most humans already gone." Vera's mind raced. Maybe they found something. Or maybe they gave up. Or maybe she stopped. Or maybe someone convinced them to stop. Later that day, Lois appeared at the gap, alone, exhausted. She'd hiked for 3 days to find them. "You're alive," she said when she saw Vera. "Barely." "What happened? Why'd they stop the search?" "Paul happened. He went to the federal coordinator. Showed them, I don't know, something. Maps, evidence. Whatever it was, it convinced them the creatures had left the area, moved north, crossed into Canada. But they didn't. I know. But Paul made it look like they did. Faked trail signs. Got some of his ranger buddies to corroborate. He basically sent the whole operation on a wild goose chase." "Why would he do that?" "Because you were right. He said some things matter more than protocol. He's risking his career. Maybe jail time. But he bought you time. How much time? I don't know. But they're gone for now. And Paul's been declared the area clear. No ongoing threat. They're pulling out." Vera sat down hard. "Jesus. Yeah. So you can come home. If you want. Is it safe?" "Safer than it was. There'll still be cameras. Still be people looking. But the official search is over." Vera looked at the kid. At the creatures. At the sanctuary they'd found. "What do you think?" she asked the kid. "I think." The kid thought about it. "I think we go home. But careful. And if it gets bad again, we come back here. We always have this place." "Yeah, we do." They left the next morning. The journey back took 3 days. Slower, careful, making sure they weren't followed. When they reached the trailer, it was exactly as they'd left it. Door unlocked, lights off, waiting. They went inside. The kid went straight to the couch, curled up in Tom's sleeping bag, fell asleep immediately. Vera stood in the kitchen, looking around. At this place she'd fled, this place she'd returned to, this place that was somehow, impossibly, still home. She made coffee, real coffee, sat at the table. And for the first time in weeks, she breathed. Summer settled in quiet. The search was over. The news crews left. The cryptid hunters moved on to the next viral video. The woods returned to themselves. But nothing was the same. Cameras still dotted the forest. Motion sensors, trail cams, some official, most not. The creatures adapted, learned the locations, avoided them, moved like they'd always moved invisible. Vera and the kid fell back into routine. But different now. More careful, more aware. They'd seen how close it came, how easily everything could shatter. Paul stopped by once a week, never announced, just showed up, checked on them, brought supplies sometimes, never asked to come in, never pushed. "You doing okay?" He'd ask from the porch. "We're managing. Good. Let me know if you need anything." One day in July, Vera asked him in. First time since all this started. He sat at the kitchen table. The kids stayed visible, no more hiding. Paul looked at it. Really looked. "Hey," he said. The kid nodded. "Hello. You're bigger than I expected. I'm growing." "Yeah, I can see that." Paul turned to Vera. "You know this can't last forever, right? Eventually someone's gonna notice. Someone's gonna ask questions." "I know. So what's the plan?" "Don't have one. We're just taking it day by day." Paul nodded, sipped the coffee she'd given him. "For what it's worth, I think you're doing a good thing. What you've done for your kid here. It's good. Tom would be proud." Vera's throat tightened. "Thanks. After he left, the kid asked, "He's good person?" "Yeah, he's good people. Not all humans bad." "No, baby. Not all humans bad. Some are good. You just gotta figure out which is which." "How you know?" "You watch. You listen. You see how they treat things weaker than them. That tells you everything." August. The kid's language skills were nearly perfect now. It could read fluently, write, hold full conversations, but it was struggling with something else. Identity. "Mom, what am I?" it asked one night. "What do you mean? Am I like my people, or like you? I live here, talk like human, eat human food, sleep in human bed, but I look like them, smell like them. When I'm with them, I feel different, like I don't fit." Vera set down her book. This was a conversation she'd been dreading. "You're both," she said, "and neither. You're you. You get to decide what that means. But how do I decide? You live. You try things. You figure out what feels right. There's no rule that says you have to be one thing or the other. You think I should go back, live with my people? I think you should do what makes you happy. You make me happy. I know. But baby, I'm not going to be around forever. I'm old. Humans don't live as long as your people do. Eventually, I'm going to die. And when I do, you're going to need somewhere to go. Someone to be with." The kid's eyes filled. "Don't say that. I have to say it. Because it's true. And I need you to be ready. I don't want to be ready. I want you to stay. I want that too. But we don't get to choose." They sat in heavy silence. "When you die," the kid said finally, voice small, "I go back to my people? Maybe. Or maybe by then you'll have figured out a different way. Maybe you'll have found a place that's yours. Not theirs. Not mine. Yours. Where? I don't know. But you're smart. You're strong. You'll figure it out." September. The kid's 13th birthday. Vera wasn't sure if that was accurate. Time worked different for the creatures. But the kid had been with her for almost 2 years. That felt worth celebrating. She made a cake, chocolate, from a box. The kid helped frost it, got more frosting on itself than the cake. "Make a wish," Vera said when she lit the candles. The kid closed its eyes, thought hard, blew them out. "What you wish for, can't tell. Won't come true. Fair enough." They ate cake, too much cake. The kid got a stomachache. Vera made tea. They sat on the porch, watching the sun go down. "Mom? Yeah? When I first came here, you scared? Terrified. But you let me in anyway." "Yeah. Why?" Vera thought about it. About that night, the blizzard, the 3 knocks, the decision that changed everything. Because you needed help. And I knew what it felt like to need help and not get it. I couldn't do that to someone else, not even someone I didn't understand. You think you understand me now. Some, not everything, but enough. I understand you too. Not everything, but enough. Vera smiled. "Yeah, I think that's all we need. Just enough." That night, Vera couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about time, about how fast it moved, about how the kid was growing, changing, becoming something she couldn't quite predict. She thought about what came next, about the impossible logistics of hiding a 7-foot-tall creature in a double-wide trailer, about the questions that would come. The attention. She thought about letting go, about sending the kid back to its people, about being alone again. The thought made her chest hurt. Around 2 a.m., she got up, went to the kitchen. The kid was there, sitting in the dark. "Can't sleep?" Vera asked. "Too much thinking." "Yeah, me too." They sat together in the dark, not talking, just being. Finally, the kid spoke. "I don't want to leave. I know, but I'm getting bigger, harder to hide. People gonna see me, gonna ask questions." "Yeah, so maybe I should go, before it gets worse." Vera's chest constricted. "Is that what you want?" "No, but maybe it's what I should do. Those aren't always the same thing. I know. But I don't want to make trouble for you. You already give up so much. I don't want you to lose more because of me. Vera reached across the table, took the kid's hand. Listen to me. You're not trouble. You're not a burden. You're my kid, and I don't give a shit if that makes things harder. I'd rather have hard with you than easy without you. You understand? The kid's eyes filled. I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby. They sat there until the sun came up, holding hands across the table. Two beings that shouldn't have been family, but were. October brought change. The scarred one came to the trailer. Middle of the night. The kid woke Vera. Something wrong, it said. They went outside. The scarred one stood at the tree line. Its posture was different, urgent. What's wrong? Vera asked. We leaving. What? Why? Too many humans. Too many cameras. Too much attention. Not safe anymore. We go north. Deep north. Where no humans go. All of you? Yes. Vera looked at the kid. The kid looked back. When? Vera asked. Tomorrow, at dusk. That soon? Must be. Window is closing. Winter coming. Must go before snow blocks paths. The scarred one turned to the kid. They spoke in their language. Low, guttural. Beautiful in a way Vera couldn't articulate. Then the scarred one looked at Vera. Child can come, or child can stay. You both decide. It left. Vera and the kid went back inside. Sat at the table, the same table where they'd had this conversation a dozen times. But now it was real. Now it was immediate. What do you want to do? Vera asked. I don't know. Yes, you do. You just don't want to say it. The kid's shoulders shook. I want to stay with you, but I also want to go. Be with my people. Learn their ways. I want both, and I can't have both. Maybe you can. How? You go with them. Learn, grow, become who you're meant to be. But you come back, visit, stay in touch. It doesn't have to be goodbye forever. You think they let me do that? I think they'll let you do whatever you choose. That's what family does. The kid thought about this. What if I go and I can't come back? What if it's too far? What if I forget? You won't forget. And if it's too far then that's okay too. You'll carry me with you, and I'll carry you with me. That's enough. It doesn't feel like enough. I know, but sometimes that's all we get. They talked through the night, cried, laughed, remembered, planned. By morning, the decision was made. The kid would go. That final day was both too long and too short. They did everything and nothing, cooked together, read together, sat on the porch together. The kid packed. Not much. Some clothes. The carving knife, Vera had given it for Christmas. Some photos. Take this, Vera said, handing over Tom's dog tags. So you remember. I don't need thing to remember. I know, but take it anyway. At dusk, the creatures came. The whole tribe, filling the clearing, waiting. The scarred one approached, looked at Vera. Thank you for keeping child safe, for teaching, for loving. Thank you for trusting me. You earned trust. It paused. You always have home with us. If you need, if you want. You family now. Vera nodded, couldn't speak. The kid hugged her. Long, tight, like it was trying to memorize the feel of her. I love you, Mom. I love you too. Be safe. Be strong. And come back when you can. I will. I promise. The kid pulled away. Looked at her one more time, then turned. Walked to the scarred one. They disappeared into the trees together. Vera stood on the porch, watching until she couldn't see them anymore. Watching until the forest swallowed them whole. Then she went inside, sat at the table, and cried harder than she had in years. The trailer was too quiet. Vera tried to adjust, made coffee for one, cooked for one, sat on the porch alone. Lois visited, brought food, didn't ask questions. Just sat with her. Paul came by, heard they moved on. Yeah. The kid go with them. Yeah. You okay? No. But I will be. He nodded. Tom used to say that grief was love with nowhere to go. Sounds like you've got a lot of love with nowhere to go right now. Yeah, that sounds about right. Winter came, hard and fast. Vera prepared, stocked food, checked the propane, made sure the generator worked. She was ready for the cold. What she wasn't ready for was the loneliness. Every morning, she woke up expecting to see the kid on the couch. Every night, she waited for the sound of footsteps. Every meal, she set out 2 plates before remembering. She thought about Marissa, about Tom, about everyone she'd lost. This felt different. The kid wasn't dead, just gone, but somehow that made it harder, because gone meant maybe they'd come back, maybe they wouldn't. The uncertainty was agony. December. Christmas approached. Vera didn't bother with a tree, didn't make cookies, just sat in the dark and counted the days. On Christmas Eve, she heard it. 3 knocks. Her heart stopped. She ran to the door, threw it open. The kid stood there, bigger, stronger, covered in snow, but smiling. "Hi, Mom." Vera grabbed it, pulled it inside, held on like she'd never let go. "You came back. Promised I would. Can only stay 3 days. Have to return before they move camp. But I wanted to see you." For Christmas, they spent those 3 days talking. The kid told stories about the journey, about the deep north, about learning to hunt, to track, to speak the old language. "I'm happy there," the kid said, "but I miss you. Miss this. Miss home. This will always be home, whenever you want to come back. I know. That's what makes it easier, knowing I have both." Too soon, the 3 days ended. The kid left again. But this time, Vera wasn't as devastated, because now she knew the kid would return, knew this wasn't goodbye. Just see you later. Spring, summer, fall. The seasons turned. The kid came back 3 more times that year, each visit short, each visit precious. Vera aged. Her arthritis got worse. Her hearing started to go, but she kept the trailer, kept it clean, kept it ready. Because you never knew when 3 knocks would come. On her 65th birthday, the kid showed up with gifts, carvings, beautiful ones, a whole family. Vera, the kid, the creatures, Tom, Marissa, everyone together. "It's us," the kid said. "Everyone who made us who we are." Vera cried. "It's perfect. You're perfect, Mom." They sat on the porch, watching the stars. The kid was nearly 7 feet tall now, fully grown, adult. But when it looked at Vera, she still saw her baby. "I've been thinking," the kid said, "about staying, coming back permanent." "Why?" "Because you're getting older. You need help, and I want to be here, with you." "Baby, you can't. Your people need you. You have a life up north. I have a life here too. I won't be around forever, and when I'm gone, you'll regret not being with them." "Maybe, but I'll regret not being with you more," they argued, gently, about duty, about love, about what mattered most. In the end, they compromised. The kid would split time, half with the tribe, half with Vera. Moving between worlds, belonging to both. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Years passed. Vera got older, slower, sicker. The kid took care of her, cooked, cleaned, helped her bathe when she couldn't anymore. Paul still visited, brought medicine, checked on them. He was older too, retirement age, but he kept working, kept protecting their secret. "You've built something good here," he told Vera one day. "Something impossible. You should be proud. I'm just tired. I know. But you did it. You made it work." One night, in October 7 years, after that first blizzard, Vera woke up knowing this was it. The end. The kid was beside her, sleeping. She touched its face. It woke. "Mom? Hey, baby. You okay?" "No, but that's okay." She smiled. "I want you to know something. These years with you, they were the best of my life. Better than anything before. You saved me. You know that? You saved me first. We saved each other. That's what family does." The kid started crying. I don't want you to go, I know, but I'm tired, and I'm ready, and I need you to be okay with that. I'm not okay with it, I know, but you will be. Eventually. And when you are, you're gonna keep living. Keep being amazing. Keep making me proud. I'll try. That's all I ask. Vera closed her eyes. The kid held her hand, and somewhere in the forest, the creatures sang. A sound like mourning, like goodbye. Like gratitude for a woman who opened her door when she didn't have to. Who chose kindness when fear would have been easier. Who built a family from impossible pieces. Vera Kowalski died at 2:47 a.m. on October 23rd. The kid was with her. Paul found them the next morning. The kid wouldn't let go of her hand. They buried her on the property. No funeral, no service, just Paul, Lois, the kid, and the creatures, standing in the rain, saying goodbye. The kid stayed at the trailer, kept it exactly as Vera left it. Visited by the tribe, visited by Paul and Lois, living between worlds, honoring both. And every year, on the anniversary of Vera's death, the kid would sit on the porch and wait, and 3 knocks would come from the forest. The tribe, remembering, honoring, grateful for the woman who chose to open her door, because sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that reach deepest. Sometimes what we save in a moment of compassion is what saves us for the rest of our lives. And sometimes family isn't about blood or species, or any of the rules we're taught. Sometimes family is just choosing each other, again and again, until the very end. That's the whole thing. Thanks for listening. Drop your thoughts below. What hit you hardest? See you next week with another story.